What's the comment? You have to say the comment.
He said, Mike Morris says, want to know where King is from? Albuquerque.
Albuquerque.
It's my favorite Weird Al song.
Said A.
A, B,
L.
B,
L.
U.
That's what Breaking Bad.
This is terrible for trying to sing.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. Kirky.
Kirky.
So I'm
Johnny
guessing
Garofalo?
we're live now.
Yeah, Zach, you can start.
Great. So I could cut off this conversation from happening. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the One Piece podcast. My name is Zach.
And
You
my
know-
name is Ed.
You know what? Let's do that again. No one's watching. It's fine. We'll be fine. This isn't live. Let's try it again because I forgot the date. I forgot the episode number, and I feel like that one's important. So let me do it again. Pretend this never happened. Okay, here we go. This is the One Piece Podcast, episode 700 for the week of Sunday, December 19th, 2021. My name is Zach.
And my name is Ed.
And my name is Steve.
And I'm going to be King of the Pirates.
That's okay. On today's show, we have very special guest translator for One Piece in Weekly Shonen Jump and Manga Plus, Stephen Paul.
Yo,
Up there somewhere. Yeah.
Yep, there I am.
Hi, Stephen.
Hey.
Good to see you.
Yeah.
We also have our anime recap host, Sam Leach, with us. How's it going, Sam?
Spider-Man.
Yes.
Spider Blood.
Let's
Spider-Man.
save that.
Spider-Man.
Let's save that for the 2-hour podcast about Spider-Man
Spider-Man.
at the end.
Irving Spider-Man.
Don't listen to Zach.
Cannot confirm or deny the plurality of the Spider-Men.
We have
Oh,
our
no,
contributor.
Like, it's a
Jill
Jewish last name.
Knight. Yeah, he's Jewish,
hello.
just like Spike. Yeah, go ahead.
Hi,
a
I'm taking my time out of my Final Fantasy 14 playing to be here. So
You're not in the queue anymore?
I thought it was
No,
mostly just waiting.
I honestly thought about it. I thought about loading for queue, but here's the thing: I was actually on, and then I turned it off for the game for you guys. So really, this is a big deal for me.
This is an honor.
Thank you.
Final Fantasy 14 sounds like Disney World, where you just do the waiting for most of the time.
Yeah,
And then they
Yeah,
have to close
it
it
is
because
a
it's too
ride.
popular.
yeah, they stopped sales.
Yep.
We also have our editor, Dan, is here. How's it going, Dan?
Pretty good so far.
Good. Thank you for everything. Dan is the man behind this. It's completely in Dan's control. All the good and bad things. Dan.
Wow, don't
Oh, don't-
throw
yeah.
that power at me. That's jeez.
Oof,
Pressure's on.
okay.
He's the man
He's
with
gonna
the
mute
Dan
me right
plan.
now. And last but certainly not least, from Toy Animation, we have Henry Thurlow with us all the way in Japan. How's it going, Henry?
It's going good.
Thanks for
Henry.
coming. Yeah. So we're celebrating our 700th episode, and Henry and Jill and Sam and everyone that I just listed, thank you all so much for coming on.
Oh,
So
my name is
before-
Alex, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Said
you
that
never said
earlier.
that. That's true.
No one asked.
So today we're going to be talking about anime episodes 1003 and 1004. Henry worked on 1003, I believe is the correct one.
Yep.
And we're also going to be talking about manga chapter 1035, which I heard has a very good looking individual in it. Leave that up to your imagination. We also have some announcements in between those two segments related to the podcast with some special guests who will be coming later in the show. And for everyone's enjoyment, the second annual Magi's, as hosted by Steve Yurko, where we pick a very serious award show where we pick the best One Piece stuff of the year. Very serious. That's all you got to know. Before we get started, though, Jump Festa was this weekend. Yeah, and there wasn't a ton of news, but the big news, I think, Dan, if you have the overlay ready, we could start and
Yeah,
talk
I'll do.
about,
Cover up
Let's
these
talk about
beautiful faces real quick.
please, character
Some
designs.
better faces.
Sam is the only person we could see here.
I'm in the movie. It looks like a film reel.
I'm on TV.
Wow, it's always for the movies that they get this. They wear the dumbest
There you go,
looking
Joe.
clothes. I mean,
Hey.
Sam would
No,
never
no, no.
be caught dead wearing
No,
that.
the
And
dumbest
look
clothes
at
are for
Sam's
the anniversary.
ridiculous outfit in this movie. Sam is dressed like a fool. Like a total.
Aw. It's funny because I am wearing like literally a plain T-shirt with nothing on it.
You could never be in One Piece, Sam.
Oda would
And
never.
No, Oda would never.
You'd have to have
Oda would
something
never
on it.
draw that.
Steve pointed it on Twitter, and now I can't unsee it. But Jinbei is just Elvis, and my
he is
my
Elvis.
life
Oh,
has
yeah.
forever changed.
Yeah, just
So-
when
No,
if
please.
Jinbei says, "Hold on, I need to use the toilet," just
Someone
do
check
the
on him.
crucifix thing.
Turlet.
Also, the ramifications of Frankie being able to rewind his chest tape with a pencil on the nipples is just that's.
Wow.
Just imagine
I-
Jinbei shooting a TV with a gun.
Imagine
The ship ain't no
Jinbei.
good.
Imagine Jinbei with those teeth chowing down on peanut butter and banana sandwiches.
Should we go through them all?
Yeah, let me go ahead and the
Let's
magic
go
of
through 'em all.
sharing.
I
Here
actually
we
saw
go.
some news from Jump Festa made the baseball subreddit today because Oda I think you've referred to himself.
Oh, you're right.
Oh,
he
yeah,
did.
yes.
As
yes,
Oda,
yeah.
what is it, Odatani
We'll get
Shogun?
to that.
Hold on.
We'll get
Yeah.
to that.
Oh, that's
Whoa.
Dad
funny.
hasn't called me.
No, I like it.
It's not
Steven-
letting me share the screen.
While Dan's doing that, Steven, I don't know if you happen to have the script thing. I probably should have
Oh, the
told you about
comments?
this ahead of time. Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that would have been nice, but
Wow.
yeah. I could share it
I
with you if you
actually
know.
think there was a ton of news from
All
Jump
right.
Festa. Like when
Go
I
ahead,
woke up,
yeah.
when I woke up, I looked at the news. Well, first of all, I've seen these character designs for a while now. Like,
Oh.
and so when I woke up and saw these online, my first thought was like, "Oh no, someone leaked them! Oh god, this is." And then I was like, "Oh, they announced it at Jump Festa. Okay, all right." But then it was like more info about the One Piece movie, and then I saw like a new Slam Dunk movie poster that's out and about now as of Jump Festa. New season of My Hero Academia, new Rurouni Kenshin series, new Bleach series date. Like there was a lot of like anime announcements with like next fall dates kind of being announced. I mean, I guess some of that was to be expected, but I think Jump Festa kind of showed quite a lot of previews.
Well,
Yeah.
Henry, as we all know, this is a One Piece and Simpsons podcast. So if there's One Piece news at Jump Festa, we'll cover it, and if there's Simpsons news at Jump Festa, we'll cover it. But as far as the rest goes, they have their respective podcasts.
Gotcha.
So, are
Anyway.
we talking about these designs?
Yeah, we should.
Do it.
Because I really like all the parts on Luffy where you insert his Doc Ock tentacles.
Is that like a personal air conditioning system? What is that?
Well, Gold Bond doesn't exist in the One Piece world.
There we go. That's the
What it
issue.
looks like to me is a reverse Haramaki, where instead of keeping your belly warm, it keeps it cool.
Oh, you know,
Yeah.
The
Owen's not a fan of
anti-Zoro.
music, so
Yeah.
he clearly misunderstood the assignment.
Damn, Zach, why didn't we come up with that logo on his shirt as our logo?
I know, that's such a good logo. If only Oda drew our logo design, we would have been set.
Yeah, our
In
logo
our
should
group
definitely be a stack of wafers with a straw hat on top.
This next one here,
Hipster jeans.
the
Random zipper for no reason.
Like, I
gays
feel
are
like
eating
this
well
is.
tonight with Zoro's deep V cut shirt here.
Look how high up
What-
his butt is.
Yeah, he's got long legs, man.
Good point.
Very short torso.
My Zoro's butt is higher than your Zoro's butt. Who has the
So
higher
are
butt,
these
Zoro
all-
or Sanji?
Oh, well, we'll find out, I guess.
We'll find
The,
out
uh,
momentarily.
Yeah.
So I
Why-
think there's some discussion on our chat earlier about how each of these is like a different musical genre.
I think
Perhaps.
that's what
Kind
they're going
of.
for.
I mean, yeah, the fest thing here is for fest. That's like how they tend to say that. So it is a music fest
It's
themed.
not the city of Morocco. And
Yeah,
the
I'm-
flags,
I was thinking they were like going to
The Straw Hats are going to the Fire Festival.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've already been.
Yep.
I mean,
They're
technically
going to
they
the
are.
Same
Singer
Fire
Ladies
Festival.
concert, maybe.
We also went to the Pirate Festival.
Let's see Sanji's butt. I mean,
They're going,
Sanji's.
the
Oh,
Straw Hats are
well,
going to
I
Woodstock
guess.
'94.
Nami's going to
Yeah.
Coachella.
Yeah, she is.
These are all really good looks. I like them all.
Yeah.
Nami's
Yeah.
got cool
Very cute.
pigtails.
Yeah, I like that.
She's got new glasses.
All right.
Oh yeah, she does wear glasses.
And,
All right, here's the winner.
Usopp
Here's
is
the
the
winner.
frontman for the greatest band in the world, Kiss.
Guar.
Oh my
Yeah,
god,
that was
if-
my joke, Gwar.
that would be amazing. Like Usopp just,
Usopp would love Guar.
yeah.
Like just
Shooting-
for the
shooting
theatrical aspect.
shooting fake excrement on people.
How long in the movie do you think that face paint's gonna stay and not just be like washed off
I
immediately?
think Usopp gets the good
From his
stuff.
tears.
Yeah.
Well, these Oda's character designs for these costume designs that he usually puts in for the movie only end up making like the first 5 minutes of the movie generally.
Right.
That's why. Yeah, that's why I mentioned. Like, we'll
Well,
see this for like 10 minutes, and then
Except for the
that's it.
suits in Strongworld, which showed up at the end.
They have a lot of act change wardrobe shifts.
God, he doesn't even have a butt. I mean, let's just get this clear the air.
Yeah,
And if he
None.
does have one, it's looking pretty low.
These are the shortest shorts that I think we've seen Sanji wear. And he's got
but
boat
those-
shoes.
but man, he's been working on
Yeah.
those calves.
Oh my god, yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, that's what he
Those are.
does.
I think you
but-
could. I think you can make those meat on a bone drumsticks in the new cookbook.
There's
Yeah.
this frat weekend, Sanji.
I like his hair.
His hair's
His
great.
hair, yeah.
It's a little
He just
extra-
woke up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
a little
Don
extra long.
Johnson.
Hairy legs, and on closer inspection, these are loafers.
It's a blucher.
Okay. And also, so we were having a discussion earlier, I think, whether these were taiko drumsticks or glow sticks.
Nope,
Jill, I
there it
think, has
is.
our answer.
Is
Uh,
I have
that
my
for
Final
Beat
Fantasy.
Saber, Jill?
I was gonna say, are this from FanFest?
14 FanFest 2019.
Yep.
Sid?
I knew it.
Turn them on.
I love his
Hold on,
little
I
apple,
got one of those too. Hold on.
his little apple stem hat.
Oh, Chopper is like a idol superfan right here.
See, look, I got my thing.
Yeah, he's got the.
The fans and his headband and
You-
everything.
But I have to just mention, we were testing video this week, and even before that, Steve just brings out that thing when, like, constantly. Like, we get
that,
it. You have a
Is that
You
the one
have
you
a
got from
lightsaber-
Galaxy's Edge?
Galaxy's Edge. Yeah.
When you go to the Star Wars land, it's required that you must edge.
Can we talk
Damn.
about Robin? Yeah.
Robin's hair
For a
looks
second.
fucking awesome.
Mhm.
Like,
Still no
No
bangs though.
bangs. No bangs.
It's okay because she doesn't have like my problem generally with with time skip Robin's like pulled back hair is that it's a weird like upside down like wave.
It's pulled back. It's
Yeah.
It looks
pulled
weird
back.
the way Oda draws it.
Harsh.
It looks like she's really looks like
A human
Zoolander did a little thing to her hair there,
She got the asymmetrical stocking thing.
Fringe
Yeah,
and
that's
everything
nice.
too.
I love the leather
Asymmetry is
jacket.
always good.
Final
Yeah.
It's
Fantasy
like a
character design.
from it's like a Final Fantasy
Well,
slash
she needs more
Paradise Kiss
bells, but-
design.
Let's move to the next one.
Oh wait, that's the last one for that one. Hold on. There we go.
Okay.
Wow.
This
This
one.
one.
Yeah.
Oh my
Frankie.
God! Money for
Frankie
nothing. Money for nothing, Frankie. Look at that.
I was gonna say he looks like he's cosplaying Blaster from the Transformers.
Yep.
Well, look,
I'm-
we all no,
I'm
Steve. I think we
expecting-
can.
Boombox.
I'm expecting like Frankie cassette robots to pop out of his chest.
Now, Steve. I think the two of us can both agree that Frankie's superior, Blaster inferior.
I think
I
you're
get
thinking of
it.
Soundwave.
I am thinking of Soundwave, but you mentioned Blaster already, so I have to
Yeah.
kind of.
He had to
Piggyback
upgrade
off
from
that.
Frankie 8-track.
Yeah.
So I mean, the cool thing is
Soundwave's
it looks like his
unchromatic.
arm is actually the equalizer that shows the levels. So
I
it'll
love
be
it.
good
This
when
is
he
such a,
yells.
this, I think as soon as I saw Frankie, I realized, oh crap, I'm gonna be buying more toys, aren't I?
Yeah, this one I might, if they have a working cassette player of Frankie,
Of course,
I would
yeah, they'll make it
Yeah,
work.
yeah.
100%
They make
buy that.
those. They
I would
totally
like
make
to
those.
challenge any cosplayers to
Good.
make this
This is a
work.
good,
It's really
Go
awesome.
for it.
yeah.
Frankie's
Someone
almost
in-
cosplaying the story of love and hate.
Gabe Ruiz asks where Frankie's nipples go. They're the
There they are,
little
right there.
pussy
They're the
parts in
things
Yeah,
that
that's-
rewind
They,
the tape.
they go like this.
You stick the
Oh yeah, it's
pencil
a
in.
rewind it. You stick
Yep.
the pencil in the
Cassette
nipple.
titties.
So who
I'm
is
just gonna
Frankie's
draw that
Cusack?
image, but
What was that, Steven?
Who is Frankie's Cusack?
Oh,
Who's holding him up outside the window?
Robin. Right?
No,
no.
Two Robins.
Robin's Ione Sky.
Joan Cusack.
Robin's in the window. Jimmy is
Yeah.
holding
With
Frankie up.
the, with the
No, say,
Oh,
say anything, Steve. Say anything.
Yeah.
That's
Shout
yeah,
the
Brooke.
monkey.
We should
I
talk
love-
about Brooke.
Brooke.
Oh yeah.
He's like dressed like Stampede Law.
Brooke's going
If
Burning
Brooke
Man.
does it, Brooke needs to have a part of this. I mean, he's the Soul King. He has to have like some kind of big part in this.
Yeah,
I
there's
wonder
a
if
reason why
there
he's
are.
got his hood up is because he'd get recognized at a music festival.
Yeah.
So he's got
It's
a.
I
true.
would love to see people be like, "Oh, I want autographs," and he just gets lost in the crowd.
Dude, that'd be so dope. Is that
Like
part
when
of his?
Hugh Jackman doesn't
skeleton.
get recognized as Wolverine.
Yeah,
at
that's what
Comic-Con.
I wasn't able to tell if that's the rest of his hair on his shoulders or if those are
Yeah.
just like furry shoulder
I think
pads. Or
No,
I
it's
think
a,
it's-
it's a
it's
fringe
just a
around his
hood.
hood, maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just
Although-
color.
Although his hood is up in all these pictures, but like the fur isn't up in all of them.
No,
I
no.
think they're
The,
pigtails.
yeah, on the one on the right, it's down the hood.
No, it's just
Oh,
like a-
yes, they're pigtails.
Yeah, and it looks like he's got some fresh kicks too.
I thought it was all like just a fur trim of a hood, the whole thing.
I think it's that. I think it's the latter, Sam.
I don't think it's.
No, I think it is. I think because his hood is up and then like just the pigtails are sticking out, and then the hood is down in the far right one,
Yeah,
and he's still got
They're
like
not
the clumps
connected.
for the
That's.
pigtails.
I think that's part of the hoodie.
I don't think he
Look,
can
we're
grow
just
his
gonna have to
hair.
wait until August to find out this pressing.
All right, and
Concern.
here's the king.
The
Here we
fucking
go,
belt.
King.
Kimono
Look at
Elvis. Wow.
God, I hope he has a scarf and he throws it at Robin.
It's it's just a
very
shame.
much.
Jinbe's official christening into the movie verse. Is
I
this.
hope they're all getting dressed and they're like, "Jinbe, here's yours." And he's just like, "What?"
Oh, you don't think? No.
We're gonna dress like this for around 20 minutes and then never wear this again.
He gets
Jinbe
the
is a
sauce from Chopper
surprisingly
Usopp.
big Elvis nerd.
well, no,
Oh, yeah,
this is
never knew it.
this isn't
He
really
has all the
Jinbei.
albums.
This isn't really Jinbei. This is what would happen to Elvis if he had not died.
Elvis is dead? Mm.
Would have turned
He
into
turned
a
violet.
fish.
No, he took the
Elvis
moo
isn't dead. He's just hanging out in Fishman Island.
I just want to note it's a shame that he's not dressed up as Bruce Springsteen because Jinbei is also the boss. So
Right?
Elvis didn't really die. He's been he's just became a fictional character.
Everybody
Well, here's
knows
the here's
real
the
boss
thing,
is
Steve. That'd be a
Jinbei.
monkey's paw wish because then Jinbei would be representing the state of New Jersey. No offense, Henry.
Well,
there's a character that best represents New Jersey from One Piece. Who is it?
Wait, Henry, are you from New Jersey or New York?
Born in New Jersey and then raised in New York. So I
There.
say I'm from New York because I was always in New York, but I in fact was born in Hackensack, New Jersey.
Oh wow,
The Diamond Factory in Hackensack.
like from the Billy Joel song.
Magellan
they-
and
Who needs a
My
house
whole
girl?
childhood, it was about the Diamond Factory in Hackensack. Every other commercial.
No wonder why you moved to New York. Because who needs a job out in Hackensack?
Is that all you get for your money?
Well, I was a baby, so I didn't have much say in that.
You were a smart.
You didn't have a
baby. You're
job?
like,
You guys talking about
destined for
Hackensack,
bigger things.
Minnesota?
no.
There's like
A smart
nobody lives
baby?
there.
Like one of those babies that are
It's really
geniuses.
small.
Yeah.
So those are the images from One Piece Film Red, August 6th. There was also an announcement, Stephen. I don't know if you have that now.
Yeah, I have it up. Yeah, in fact, I saw this last night when they posted it on the official account. I didn't see if there was like an English and or French one that they put up like they have done before. So I'll just read off the Japanese. So this is Oda's comment from Jump Festa. He says, "Hello everyone visiting Jump Festa and everyone tuning in. I suppose live on online or something." He says, "Hello. I am the two-sword master of shoulder and back pain, Shohei Odatani." And he says, "This year we started with the manga chapter 1000 party. We continued through the volume 100 party, and then the anime episode 1000 party. It was a year of party. Did you enjoy all of the various projects that we did? We had a bunch of announcements as well, including the cast announcement for the Hollywood live-action One Piece. Aren't they perfect? Those 5 are really great, and the production is proceeding slowly and carefully. Then we've got the movie Red, this mysterious girl, Shanks, Luffy. Shanks is actually, he's a character who still has many mysteries. What is his connection with this girl? Will he meet with Luffy? This is the first time that we've ever seen Shanks appear this much in a movie, but he will. He's going to be in it. They told me not to announce anything, but I wrote it first, so I win. And he He says, and guess what? Next year is actually going to be the 25th anniversary of the manga, or so they tell me.
No way, is it?
Yes.
Yes.
19,
Sam's finding
1997.
out just now.
Wow.
We're
Yeah.
old.
I feel like the 20th was like yesterday.
I think you're thinking of the anime, Sam.
I mean, like the
Yeah.
anime too, but like anyway.
So the announcement continues. He says, my editors have all sorts of plans in the works, so look forward to that. And then we have the story of the manga itself, which even I am thinking, wait, Wano isn't done yet. So he says, anyways, Luffy, focus on the hero. I hope I hope I do a good job drawing it. And finally, the last scene of Wano, which I've been dying to draw for so long. Gah! So at any rate, One Piece next year will be super hot. It'll be super exciting. And I hope you stick around and I hope you support it. December 2021, Eiichiro Oda.
See, only hot characters now.
One
So
Piece.
just
I mean, if this
Oh,
last
yeah,
chapter is
man.
any indication.
Yeah.
Do you think my mom is hot? No, I think she's super hot.
So do you suppose after all this time, when he kept saying that Shanks was going to make his move, he meant to say movie?
Also, for Shanks to show up more than in any other movie, what does he need to show up for, like 30 seconds?
And not in the
Like,
credits.
Not in the credits. Like,
Say,
Has he shown up in any of the movies?
When was he
outside
in a
of-
movie?
No, I don't think he has,
Exactly.
except in
I
flashbacks.
don't think so.
Yeah, usually just like showing Luffy making the promise with him.
Was he?
Kind of.
He was in probably like that prequel episode 0 to Strong World for like a moment, right? Where
Yeah.
That's like
He's,
an
like, crying.
episode.
Yeah,
It's
that's
like
like
a
an
DVD
OVA, though.
special.
It was just
Owned
it was
by
just him
House.
crying.
adjacent for about 10 seconds one time in the.
Oh, I
20.
remember.
Yeah. It's
Back
true.
before Ace showed up in the anime, in movie 2, when like the movie exclusive characters were like there was a bond between two of them because they were brothers, or at least they were adopted brothers.
The
Trump-
Borodo, not the
and,
Trump
and-
Pirates.
and Ace
Trump
wasn't
Pirates,
introduced
yeah.
yet, so like Luffy's equivalent of having an older brother was Shanks.
Yeah,
It's like, oh yeah, Shanks. Yeah.
and then they do like a weird like Mufasa Simba thing too with his head.
Yes.
And it's very good. I love movie 2. I'll talk
Movies
about it
really, too,
all.
are
I'll
pretty
episode
good,
long if you
actually.
want. Over under on this new character being an old flame of Shanks.
Hmm.
Man, you
I
assume
don't see
too
it.
much.
Okay,
Well, we're
Padme.
just-
We know
Spitballing.
like nothing about Shanks, so maybe like why not? I guess.
We
But I
gotta get
mean, we
the
know that he
new
might
girl.
have a baby.
Versus Makino. They got to fight it out.
Yeah.
damn.
It's going,
Absolutely.
it's going for like the whole
Boxing.
musical thing.
It
Maybe
was actually
Shanks-
Makino's sister. He broke up with her and got with Makino.
So
Oh,
she
that's
must be
awkward.
half sky person then, because
Yeah.
yeah.
They had different dads.
I think the only other thing I saw coming out of Jump Festa was a video featuring the cast looking like so much excitement. Like it would take me all my energy right now to replicate a moment of it. But it was cool, and they were I forgot who wrote it. They're such dweebs. I love it. You know,
I
like
have a question.
Alex. Yes, Alex. I'll call on you.
I believe you can. Can you watch the super stage online? Because I saw
I heard it was
Gizem
live streaming. Yeah,
post
I
a
don't know
video.
where.
Yeah, because I really want to see the Straw Hats go up there and read all their cool lines from the past year. That'd be neat.
And they were all
Um,
dressed up in like their
Yeah,
in like Wano-ish garb related to their
yeah.
characters.
It was everybody except for Brooks' voice actor Cho. But Jinbei is there, and if you look at the pictures, they're great because he drew on
did the,
Jinbei's curly eyebrows.
And yet Sanji's voice actor didn't know which direction to make the eyebrows, I guess, or something. But
I guess, yeah.
he's
Well,
great.
who knows?
All right.
We don't know.
No, we don't. Any other? I think that's all the news from Jump Festa, unless we're going into My Hero and other. So we should talk a little bit about the anime.
Oh, hold on. Kelly's in chat
chill.
actually telling us that for a limited time it'll be on YouTube starting on the 22nd.
There you go. Thank you, Kelly.
Nice.
Kelly
Kelly.
in for the save. Kelly is our editor in chief, by the way. So Sam, do you want to take it away and then give Henry the floor?
Sure thing. All right. This is the anime recap for episodes 1003 and 1004. I'm your host, Sam, and today with me we have none other than Zach Logan.
That's me.
We have... I have to make it dramatic because that's how I do it. We have Ed.
Second.
It's always my favorite when you announce Ed.
Yeah, because I have to build up and then decide. Oh wait, what inflection do I want to use at the last second? We have our beloved friend Jill.
Here.
We have. I gotta come up with something for Steve. We have Spider-Man's own Steve Yurko.
My Stevie senses are tickling. Someone call for a web slinger.
Tickling.
Uh-oh. It's your Stevie tingle.
We have the dude, aka Alex. Have you watched the episode, Alex?
I watched the second one, the new one.
That's the wrong one.
I didn't know. I was like, okay, gotta prep. I watched it right before recording. I felt really good about myself, and I watched the wrong fucking episode. I'm so sorry, Henry, but I've seen
Unacceptable.
most of
I'm
the
leaving
other
right now.
episodes,
I'm
and
cutting
you
off.
do
That's it.
great
I'm out.
work, and I love
Never
you.
again.
You saw this part in the recap.
Oh, aren't we doing a double this week?
Yeah, we're doing a double.
Doing both. We're
So
also doing
technically,
1004.
Alex
but,
did
yeah.
half the work.
But the wrong half. The wrong half. And it is
This is
still
just
an
like
F.
this
Jill's
is high
right.
school all over again.
Yeah, it is.
And joining us today, we also have a very special guest. We have Toei's own Henry Thurlow.
Hello, and just for the record, I am not a representative of Toei. Anything I say here cannot be attributed to my employer, yada, 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 all that stuff. I'm just animator Henry, fan of One Piece, who also happened to work on One Piece on the podcast. So everything I say from here in this segment and any other, that's who's talking, just Henry.
And we also
Henry.
have Stephen Paul, who I presume is sitting this part of the podcast out.
Okay.
Confirmed.
And he is.
Okay. We begin with episode 1003, A Heroic Blade, Akazaya versus Kaido again once more. The title card begins at 3 minutes and 57 seconds. It starts with Queen being very pleased with himself as his ice is consuming the various samurai, and they're starting to grow like horns and claws and stuff. And Drake is announcing like he's finally done it. He's used the plague rounds, and Queen's just shooting at the
I always
crowd
forget
with this
that.
big
I always
Gatling
forget
gun.
that's a pun until you say it out loud.
Yeah, what's the Japanese on that one? It's not, because it's supposed to sound like at least in English.
Oh well,
This
Steven's
is
not here with
good.
us.
Yeah, this would be a fantastic time for Steven to chime in.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's not here.
Who's attacked?
Henry would know.
What
Queens,
are the plague ground? Or no, we're talking about the plague grounds. What are they called in Japanese?
Oh, I forget. I know what you're talking about, but yeah.
We have a scene with Yamato running through the halls, chasing after Momonosuke and Shinobu, saying, "My son, please stop." And we got this cute shot with like the big bold outlines, and they're kind of cartoony for a bit. And Shinobu and Momonosuke are having like a back and forth over whether they can trust this person. And they're like, he can't be Odin. And then there's like a close up on Yamato's boobs. So you know what they mean by that.
I don't know. He's got Odin's long flowing white hair with a hint of teal, and has his eyes and his red pants, but
Getting image otherwise.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hawk's just like
the
Odin,
that's
though.
the issue.
But despite that, Momonosuke does seem to recognize something Odin-like in Yamato's eyes. And we come back to the rooftop fight with all the Akazai 9 versus Kaido and Jack and all them. Lots of big swelling music and close-ups on people's eyes. Dogstorm takes out Nangi of the numbers. And Cat Viper and Dogstorm are showing off their weapon limbs. Like, hey, Jack, look what you've done to us. You made us way cooler.
Jack's like, joke's on you. I replaced my teeth with swords.
We have a good bit of Carrot kicking some ass just like jumping around, making her way towards, where Parasparrow is, and we hear like Parasparrow's Perorin in like a super creepy like voice with this kind of distortion over it.
Do rabbits have super hearing? Like, where was he in comparison to her?
I mean,
they've got really big ears.
yeah,
I would
look
think
where
they
are the big
probably
ears for,
would.
if not, I guess.
The minks in several different locations are the star of the episode. Really, I think
They
Carrot
are,
is on
yeah.
Carrot is on screen much more than any of the Straw Hats are in this episode. I think Zoro.
I think
appears
anime is
briefly.
doing
Yeah.
The anime is doing much more, and it was something like what Henry was saying for episode 1000. I think they did like a very good job promoting the role of Wanda and Carrot in this episode, when in the
Yeah,
manga they were very sidelined.
Yes.
I mean, this episode was all build up, and the next episode was catharsis. So that's just. I mean, I don't know. I felt really good about watching these episodes back to back.
We have a scene with Big Mom and Parasparrow meeting up, and Marco appears, and he's like, "Hey, Big Mom, I'm not such a bad guy. We both are talking about ogre extermination." But Big Mom gets mad because neither Marco nor Parasparrow are really in the loop that Big Mom and Kaido have an alliance now, so she doesn't actually take kindly to somebody talking about killing her partner.
A little awkward of Marco to bring it up. I'll be honest.
Yeah, like
oh,
really.
Oh, okay, maybe not.
I'm a head
It's
out.
like that brings us to the eye catch of the episode. We come back with some more Dogstorm and Cat Viper versus Jack, and as they're like Jack's about to lose, and this is when Kaido butts in and starts threatening our friends here.
He plays the kind-hearted captain.
Yes, and then we have Black Maria is setting up her shamisen. She's a musician as well, and she's not really singing. She's just kind of like telling this story/poem thing about two people who have been kept apart for a very long time and finally getting to meet under the moonlight. And all of Black Maria's groupies are like, "Oh, that's so romantic, Black Maria, you're so amazing." Big Mom questions Parasparrow's faith in her decision making, and she turns to Marco and says, like, "Hey, why does a former member of Whitebeard's crew, want to work with the people like the Straw Hats?" And Marco says, "Well, just because Whitebeard was my captain doesn't mean I have to do what he says after he's dead. So, fuck you."
Those exact words.
Not
That's
that
exactly,
Whitebeard,
yeah.
Not that Whitebeard would like disapprove of what he's doing right now. I don't think.
How dare you, my rival?
Marco turns into a bird, flips the bird.
How would that work with a wing?
Carrot's making her way to the scene, and she's having flashbacks to Pedro blowing himself up, which she is then going to blame Parasparrow. I mean, yeah, Pedro technically blew himself up, but just as she's about to like arrive on the scene, she like stops and like looks up, and it's it's implied she's seeing the full moon and is about to transform. We come to Luffy and Sanji running through the halls. And this is about the time where I was thinking to myself, like, this Henry has a scene in this episode, right? Like, have I missed it? Did I see it? And then I see the Kaido. I'm like, oh, this is it.
Yeah.
That was very beautiful.
That's exactly how I thought of it too. I'm like,
yeah,
it's Kaido.
And then Kaido's doing his big blast breath. This is Henry shot. Kinemon, because he's Foxfire Kinemon and he has the ability to cut fire, he cuts the fire. The samurai make this big declaration that they aren't about to run away. And we come to a close-up on Kaido's eye, to be continued into this episode right now that we're going to talk about immediately. Episode 1004, Inherited Technique Unleashing Oden's Secret Swordplay. The title card begins at 3 minutes and 7 seconds. And it opens with Shinobu and Momonosuke are like hiding up in the rafters.
This prologue... This is sort of like a prologue that felt sort of disconnected from the rest of the episode. Like the rest of the episode was, this was an extra scene from last episode. And
I guess
it just felt like connected that way. And what comes after is pretty consistently amazing.
So Yamato starts going on about how I was like, well, I'm Odin, so I should know how my son smells, and he's like sniffing around. And Momonosuke has a genuine moment of like, oh, do I smell that bad? And then Shinobu comes in like, I like your smell, Momonosuke. Just a lot of
My mom thinks I'm cool.
There's no way to feel good about yourself in this moment if you're Momonosuke.
No.
That definitely sounds like something you tell like a kid who's like nervous about themselves. Like, no, I think you smell okay. Before puberty, clearly.
I think you smell bearable. Like I could tolerate it. It's fine. Sam, please.
Yamato offers a hug. It looks like they're about to all be friends, but Yamato's offer is just too creepy, and they start running away again. So we have Black Maria on the shamisen again. And we're kind of cross-cutting between her playing and the build-up to the Kaido fight. And this is when the song or the poem or whatever you would call this, there's kind of a double meaning as they juxtapose it against the Kaido scene, as they're talking about people who have been apart from too long, finally meeting again under the moonlight. But it's rather than the romantic intentions of the song, it's adversaries facing off again after 20 years.
Odin and Kaido specifically, because they do have the very cool the
Oxide 9 collectively represent Odin, and we get all these cool close-ups with everyone's got a full moon kind of superimposed over one of their eyes.
I thought about Zach during this whole bit.
It was very cool.
Anytime a moon comes up.
When you look up in the sky at night, you're like, Zach.
Yeah.
Black Maria's shamisen song reaches a climax of sorts. It's really suggestive the way that she finishes the song and breaks the string and goes, oh.
Yeah, she finishes all right.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes, Black Maria nuts.
Well, I mean, we're out of November, so she's allowed.
Are we allowed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah, she's crazy.
After that, go ahead.
Okay, so the entire rest of the episode is just balls to the wall. Everyone's going attacks. Kinemon's running up Kaido's body.
It's really freaking
cool anime.
This is very well done. Yeah,
just cool anime action scenes of just following the camera's just following all this kind of complicated choreography, kind of flowing through the scene.
It felt so. And I say this this is a compliment. It was so Dragon Ball Z-ish. I think the sound effects obviously, but yeah, it brought me back to sitting in front of Toonami as a little kid. I liked it. That's a very high praise.
I mean, even so far as the recent Broly movie where it's just constant, just boom, 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 and we're flying through these humongous spaces.
I mean, I'm sure Henry could also we'll talk about more, but Brian talks a lot about direction and how you have to, and Steve could probably talk about it too, but just knowing where everything is and being able to kind of take you through something so chaotic and also being able to have some consistency to it. I'm just super in awe by all of that kind of stuff, especially with Kaido, which I know Henry did do a lot of, just the massive scale of it.
Yeah, and so we have the samurai. They kind of push back some of the fire together, and they've survived. Kaido is incredulous about it. Brings us to the eye catch of the episode. We've got some memories of Odin, some of the usual stuff, but it's also kind of mixed in with some interesting directorial choices where we've got young Kinemon is remembering Odin and crying and talking about how he is inheriting Odin's will, and then the rest of the cast, still their young versions, they all break the fourth wall together, and they're starting to bicker about, why are you the lone inheritor? Isn't this a team thing? Aren't we all doing this together?
Everyone except Conjuro was there, notably.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
I didn't think about that. But then they're all bickering, and then we're still in this. I guess presumably an actual moment that happened in the past as they're bickering, and Odin's hey guys, want to, can I show you the two sword style? And they're all just not in the mood, not today. I don't care. We got our own thing going on here. And then we come back to just a series of big action moments where every member of the Akazai 9 get a big attack, like Kinemon, Cat Viper, Kawamatsu. I noticed like a couple like very short cuts of like of a CGI dragon in there, which I don't think we've seen before, to my knowledge. I guess we'll talk about that in a bit. Kiku and Izu, Izo, Ashura Doji, Dendro, and then it finishes with Kinemon running at Kaido again. Again, the camera's doing some pretty interesting stuff. Raizo jumping in, blocking some flames with his giant scroll and binding Kaido with the scrolls, creating a big explosion. And then this is when we call back to the two-sword style idea, as they're all doing the pose together, and the shot is kind of like cycling through their silhouettes as they're like each at different stages of the pose. And I thought that was a cool effect. And then we have Kaido is shooting some fire out like a Gatling gun, and everyone's like just jumping around and going for it. And then we got a cool like watercolor Odin that kind of like fades into the action again.
And it felt like it was referencing the Odin flower petal thing, because that was
they
like
do that for like the final shot. This is where we get the biggest like just DBZ blast, just boom, as everyone's attacking all at once. Notably on Kaido's scar where Odin cut him 20 years ago. And then the image of Odin that they're like cutting back and forth between fades into the cherry blossoms, and then the cherry blossoms transition into the to be continued screen. General thoughts on these two episodes, everyone?
Start with the first one.
Terrible. I think the animators did a really bad job.
I want to hear everything from Henry first and how they could have done better.
So I guess that's my cue. So episode 1003, episode director was Michibata-san, Nanami Michibata. And she has, I don't know if, I don't think this is her first episode, but she's been like an assistant director for the most part up until this point. She might have done a couple of other episodes before this, but I think she's still new to doing like episodes entirely herself, and I think she did a really good job. I don't usually know, almost never do I know how, like, if it's going to be a great episode or if it's going to be a mediocre episode until it right before it airs, to be honest, because I'll know what's happening in my section and maybe the sequences before and after, because I want to check to see if this is all working together. But in terms of like, is everything being held together and what's the overall quality of animators that were amassed for this particular episode, I'm not privy to all of that information usually. Neither was I this time. But that's the episode director. So you just have to put it in their hands and hope, and sometimes episode directors that are, usually famous for being like really good, also have weaker ones. And then similarly, sometimes episode directors that you don't expect much from all of a sudden have amazing time. So it really, every time is a new art project essentially, but you got to put it in the hands of the episode director. And I thought that Michibata-san did a really, really good job this time. When I was watching the episode, I was really kind of surprised by how even non-action sequences like looked really good, like Carrot running down the stairs and turning, and Big Mom, like, in front of Onigashima. Like it had like all those shadow layers and stuff that I like, but of course I had no part of that. I was watching it like as a fan too, like, oh man, look at all these sequences I didn't know, were being made. These look great. My sequence at the end, I'm working on an episode in the future, kind of far future. So like I mentioned on the last podcast, like you're not going to see me for a little while now. There's one other thing I did that's coming really soon, so you'll see that. But then after that, I will fade into the mist, and then you won't see me for a few months. But when I come back,
like Odin with the
it'll be
flower
big,
petal.
I want to focus on something really big. And so, but in between, or right when I finished episode 1000, and before that one started, they were kind of like, well, we want you to work on something else. So like, are there any scenes? Here's the storyboards that are done. Like, what can you help us with? And I was like, well, I love drawing Kaido, as a dragon. So this Boro breath scene was available. And I took that, but doing the whole thing, usually you take like this sequence to this sequence and then do everything. The Borrow Breath sequence also had tons of shots of it cutting back to the Akazaya again and again and again. So I told him, I was like, that's too much. I can't do like, 20 shots in a row of also action shots of Kinemon running and slashing and everything. Not if I want to focus on, the stuff we already decided I'm going to focus on. So I just took those shots. So the Kaido dragon shots all at the end, through him getting slashed in the eye, were me, and then all of the other shots were Masahiro Kitazaki. So Kitazaki-san is usually a animation director, so he's really good, and he took all the rest of the sequences there. And and then I just focused on having fun with Kaido as a dragon. I think I mentioned this last time, but I'll mention it again because it's fun. Actually working in the studio gives me certain benefits that I never had as a freelancer for these studios, specifically like sitting down and talking with and reasoning with the other people on the production, right? If you work as a freelancer, you hand in their stuff and then it goes through the process. And then when it comes, and then it might come back to you for second key animation or corrections or things like that. But for this one, for example, like, I could sit down and I could ask if different things can be done. So like the ball coming up in the throat, like shining and things like that. Like I feel more kind of open to be able to just try to do stuff that isn't even in the storyboards. Just because I'm right next to the people actually producing it and I can turn and, talk to them and things like that. So I think a lot of kind of creative things hopefully are showing up in my sequences, in large part thanks to the fact that I'm really just in there. And then I did the best job I could, once again drawing all the scales again and again and again and again. I did get help this time with secondary key animation. I will say, I mentioned when I joined the studio on Twitter, like usually I like cleaning up all my stuff, and that's actually like a really important thing to me. And that's my biggest suggestion for foreign animators. And in fact, I'm not totally privy to all the details of episode 1004, but I'd be willing to bet from some of the franticness I saw in the room that probably some of the foreign animators, again, probably had trouble finishing some of the cleanup or things like that. And I stress again and again, it's so important that you consider layout and secondary key animation the same job. You're supposed to lay out the sequence, then get the notes, and then truly finish your sequence. And especially foreign animators recently are just denying that. Like, oh, well, I did the layout, so I think that'll just be my only part of the job. Okay, thanks, bye. And it really screws with the production, because especially if you have like tons and tons and tons of keyframes, that's far too cruel, to be honest, of an ask for the secondary key animator. Now, all of that being said, I have to do that occasionally, and I feel terrible doing it. But I because I'm working on so many episodes now, and I even told them at the beginning, like, look, if I take even more work on and do this episode too, I don't think every sequence I'll be able to clean up myself. But I took that in mind, and I tried to make even my layouts as clean as possible. So I don't think I was super cruel to the secondary key animator. Like all those scales I even drew on the roughs with my fingers crossed that there wouldn't be animation director corrections, because if there was, then all those scales would have just been useless, because something would have changed. But luckily, Michibata-san was like, Henry drew a cool dragon, we could just leave it at that. So this time it really was just kind of the way I drew it. It was kind of the way I drew it, and the secondary key animation job ended up being mostly trace back and some finessing. But still, I don't know who did it exactly, so I can't name them by name. I wish I could, but anyone that puts effort into secondary key animation and really does that job correctly also, my hat's off to. Thank you very much. And yeah, that was my experience for 1003. I think Michibata-san is maybe someone to look out for, because I think her use of color in particular is really great. I didn't know that the sky was going to turn that like that bright pink. That was really cool, I thought. So I was really, sometimes I feel I drew something great and then when I see the final product, the compositing is like really super weak or nothing at all. Like they practically just put, you know, and I'm not even just talking about One Piece. I'm talking about my entire experience. And then I think like, oh man, well, if the compositing wasn't gonna do anything to fix some of my problems, I should have gone further. I don't really like how it turned out. But then there's the opposite times where like this, where I think even I'm in awe of the compositing, and I'm like, oh man, like I thought
both of these, both of these episodes were really good in that regard.
Yeah, compositing super important. It can make great animation sequences in rough animation where you hit play in the rough animation. Oh, this is moving so cool. That'll be great. It can make those sequences end up looking boring, or it can even make boring kind of, oh, this isn't moving that great sequences look super flashy and wow, this is great and cinematic, right? And then of course, go for it.
No, I was just gonna say I like it. The Marco Big Mom scene really caught my eye. I like that orange overcast.
I think in general for One Piece, like this whole Onigashima stuff happening at night, like I can't remember. I guess Thriller Bark is like the last time, but this
Whole Cake
I feel like
was very distinctly like you see the time of day change throughout the chase.
Yeah. I'm thinking of the Mirror Land where it wasn't really anything in particular.
Right.
But yeah, no,
one day.
But I agree with you. I agree with you, Zach. Like there aren't that many shonen battles that I can really think of off the top of my head.
That might be what I'm thinking.
Truly in the moonlight, you know. Usually they're all kind of copying the Dragon Ball Z, or maybe even Dragon Ball Z copied kind of the Hokuto no Ken method, where it's just like a desert landscape, and like so we don't need to think about like light direction. We don't need to think about things that are casting shadows. We're just in a desert. You can crash anything. You don't need to reconsider like what was crashed into. It doesn't matter.
You see, they say it's to protect innocent civilians, but it's to protect innocent animators.
Yeah, it's to protect all the artists involved and even the original creator. Because like you're not going to remember like, okay, I smashed the ground and there's a crater over here, and now where are they in comparison to that crater 45 seconds later? And no, they're not. Like it's desert the whole time, and they're crashing into like but incidentally, you know, there's a lot, man. The anime staff on every anime, but you know, in my experience, One Piece, they really put a lot of effort into stuff that I don't think anyone even notices. Like even I don't notice, but like there's constantly every day new model sheets and references and maps that come out for things like I mentioned, like Luffy and Zoro smashed into the top half of this building here. Now for every background from this episode forward, that corner of the building has to have cracks in it. Right?
That's such a cool merch idea. Even like just to see all those little like tiny like I can't imagine.
You won't even know. I mean, again, even I don't notice it because you know it just looks like a background. And but in fact, like that's the wall they crashed into, and that's why it's caved in. You know, 10 episodes later, it's pretty cool.
That is cool. I think that's more. I think your staff pays more. Well, Oda doesn't have the luxury, as I think we've also discussed, you know, each week to remember all those little things because
Sanji's beard. Or when he does, they're so like cramped in that you wouldn't notice them as a reader. Like the like doorways that the Luffy Lawn like kid came in through. The rooftop in the manga. Like when like someone had to point that out for me to notice. And I was like, oh, that's cool. I wish.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see all of the notes and maps and stuff like that for Fishman Island in the anime, just because.
Oh my god!
In the manga, it's just like what? How does it even work?
But I think Onigashima is also, I am sure for you, Henry, it's a confusing place, and a lot happens. But yeah, that one day I hope in the future we get to kind of.
It's funny because I, as a fan, I totally agree with you. And then like behind the scenes, so like when I did the episode 995, Kinemon like running down the hallway, the black and white sequence, there was actually so there's a map of the castle, and they're like, this is Kaido's room, and these are the two hallways that they run down, and like it's on this layer, and I'm looking at the map, and I'm like, really? Like, is it really that though? Like, who made this? Like, is this really the okay? Like, did you get this from Oda? Maybe they did get it from Oda. Like, I don't really know, but it's not totally random, which surprised me because I'm like, you could just have them running down hallways and then burst into the room. Like, it's fine.
It's Scooby-Doo-ish. Like,
but
no one.
In fact, there really is a map for that, and there are 2 hallways that they thought up so that they understand what's happening in the castle.
Good.
That's pretty cool.
Good. Yeah, it's crazy, but good.
So episode 1004. I see some questions also about like colors.
Oh yeah, we could.
So 1004, I wasn't a part of, but I'll just mention briefly. Koyama-san was the episode director of this one. Yasunori Koyama-san. Koyama-san's episodes are always those kind of artsy episodes in a good way. Oh well, I guess it depends on if you like that or not. But it's the ones where it's like there'll be a black screen and a shape that appears in some color, and then that will somehow turn and then fit into the composition somewhere. And in this one, that also happened where like the blades were slashing down, and then it was like a black screen, blade slash down, and then it became the blade of like one of the Akazaya. So and the moon like over the eye is very Koyama-san. Like
is that the same direct? Because wait, is this what's the person's full name?
Yasunori Koyama.
Because I was trying to think, because there's a Koyama who did, is it a woman? Because there's a woman who did one of the early Wano episodes I remember really liking.
Koyama-san is not a woman.
Okay, so I'm thinking of someone else then.
What episode are you talking about?
Like the when you meet Hitetsu and like Tama's getting sick.
Yeah.
Oh, like very beginning. Okay.
Yeah,
that's a while.
I wasn't on the staff at that point. I don't remember that one.
I think it was
10 years ago.
Koyama-san did the episode where Kiku fought
the sumo.
No. Just like 10 episodes ago with
Conjuro.
Conjuro. Yeah.
Yes.
So that episode also had all.
Don't spend your brain remembering his name. He's awful.
Well, you have to because
I know.
But so yeah, Koyama-san again delivered what Koyama-san always delivers, but also this time they amassed a whole bunch of international animators, and then like one of the best, if not certainly one of the best animators on the whole staff, if not the best animator on the whole staff, Ishizuka-san. Also,
I was thinking of Aya Komaki.
Oh, okay.
By the way, Henry, I have noticed, and I maybe it's a trend, but just the amount of international credits, and I don't mean to get off topic, but also just on my feed, like for 1004, I think in particular, on Twitter, I saw person after person who worked on episodes. It's like it's great to see more of the community over there at Toei.
I always say, and I say this, I think people think, well, I think a lot of people interpret this in different ways. Some people think I'm being, I don't know, like jealous or something. Like, I think it's a double-edged sword by using, like, obviously I want to support my international brothers and sisters who are finally getting a chance, but I just there are people doing it correctly, and then there are people that are not doing it correctly, and they're just like posting, they've become privy to the fact that if you copy and paste "I am an animator" or something in Japanese on your title there, that international Japanese producers that are interested in international artists contributing may contact them, but sometimes they're very young, like they're and they have no experience, and they don't know and sometimes even skilled people contribute, but they don't know the process. Like I've introduced certain friends to work on stuff over the years, right? And I always have to have very big sessions beforehand. Like, look, you have to do layouts, you have to do secondary key animation. You can't cut out in the middle. Also, you have to put these notifications. You can't not fill out a timesheet. When you do fill out a timesheet, it has to be this way. Like, it's a big thing. So if people are willing to put in the time and effort, and some of the animators that contributed to 104, if not all, are among those really good people. And if you get it and you get all of those, then yes, you can contribute as a professional, to this stuff. But it's a double-edged sword, because when you contact, for me personally, funny enough, like I would also, if I was in charge of an episode, I would definitely have international staff, but I would be very picky and choosy. I would kind of maybe be an asshole about it, because I would be like, you have to prove yourself, and I need to know there's not going to be screw ups that suddenly require last minute retakes that screw up the, production process for me. Whereas, to be honest, some producers are more lenient than even me, and it's like, well, let's go for it. Let's give it a shot. And that's how so many people are getting shots nowadays, which is a good thing. But again, double-edged sword, because a truly unprofessional person working on a very, very professional thing with a very strict deadline is dangerous.
Yeah.
But yeah, so 104 overall, I think, did a great job, though. I know that Tosan, the Chinese animation director, who's kind of a superstar in One Piece, currently also contributed to this episode. So yeah, good job, One Piece. We're doing a good job.
Good job, Henry.
Good job.
Nice.
I gotta say, I really was thinking about this while watching these episodes. Me like, God, even just comparing to a few years ago, I think it's astonishing the difference that the anime has made. Like, I'm really excited pretty much to watch every single episode now and not be like, oh God, what's the anime gonna do this time? So it's been fantastic as an anime watcher these days.
Yeah, agreed. I don't have anything to add to what Jill said. They were both very good episodes. I like the artistic choices that were made. Alex,
yeah, I love whenever the anime really goes outside the box. And it's not a one-to-one adaptation of the manga. I mean, if I wanted that, I'd just read the manga. So it's really cool to see the animation team really flexing their muscles and really kind of going all out. Like, it kind of turns some episodes of One Piece into like an A24 production of something where, like, it like even at the very end, I think audibly when I watched the end of today's episode, when they do the cherry blossom transition to the to be continued, I go, oh wow, that's cool. Like, I don't know, these days the Wano arc continues to really impress me and really makes it something that I would want to see in a theater. Like when you go back and look at like what the One Piece movies used to be, the Wano arc really surpasses a lot of it in a lot of ways, especially with artistic choices. Like
two comments from what you just said. One is I it's funny because I'm part of Wano, and so I obviously want to hype it up, and like those words make me feel great, like, oh man, I'm part of something that's great. But I honestly really do feel One Piece has had really great moments all throughout. Like I see comments like, oh, it don't, some people being kind of sarcastic about it, like, oh, like it only took 900 episodes for the anime to finally start looking good or whatever. Like at episode 900 the animation gets really good, right? And like it's like a joke, but to be honest, like, again, I'm just gonna say it again and again and again, like, go back and look at some of that stuff. In fact, recently when the numbers showed up, right, and everyone's fighting them in the like the front of the castle there's been some flashbacks to Oars and them breaking his like just head in, right? Like how they beat him. And that looked amazing. Didn't that look amazing? I mean, look at that whole sequence when they beat Oars. Like, all the characters were flipping around on Thriller Bark, and then Luffy, like, both arms got all huge and smashed him down.
I mean, I'll be frank. Whenever I really hold One Piece, the anime, to a high regard for like the first maybe 500 episodes. And I'm not like, and I don't mean to like, I'm not trying to take a dump on One Piece, the anime, of course.
Gotcha.
But I think back to like, honestly, my favorite episodes are like the first like 125 or so. Like, to me, that's the peak for me. And then the Water 7 stuff is really good. Thriller Bark is also like one of my favorite episode is in the Thriller Bark like section. It's I guess It's not something that I really considered until years down the line, where it kind of depends on who is directing and who is sort of working on it.
It's like there are great episodes throughout the whole thing.
Yeah.
But there's also like Wano is when they really like tightened up it never dips the way
it's like a consistency thing.
It's consistency and the art style like holds it all together in a way that the previous
but I'm with you, Henry. I don't think that like this is when One Piece started getting good. I think that's just Sakuga nerds, hyping up how good everything has looked in Wano, and I think that honestly that is a testament to the great work that everybody's doing over there. But I do want to be clear that I'm not. I don't think that this is when things started getting great.
I think the consistency and the change in style, I think, really like brought in a new generation of One Piece anime fans, and also just kind of revitalized it. But all that being said, I agree with everything Alex said.
The second thing I want to say, and everyone can boo me and give me thumbs down for this because I'm just being an asshole about it. You mentioned I wish I could watch it on a theater. That's what I get to do every week. Toei has an in-house theater, and that's how they premiere the episodes. So be like two or 3 days, or even a week sometimes before the episode airs, I'm watching the episode that you'll see in a few days in a theater.
That's very cool.
That's
I
really
did not
awesome.
know that. That's really awesome. Yeah. Wow. So 1,000 must have been a party.
That's one of my favorite bits of NCAA baseball so far. That's really cool.
1,000, a lot of people seats pretty full. That's pretty cool.
Good. I'm glad they were full for that. Sam, sorry. Is there other comments or?
I mean, we're still. People are free to get their reviews in.
We could mention that coming up is a Barto special.
Oh yeah.
I don't know anything beyond that. Honestly, I just saw the.
Oh, that's just a recap episode. Like
that's what I figured.
Episode 1005 is the first episode that airs next year. But the official anime broadcast break doesn't happen next week, and so next week is just to fill the time slot. There's like a recap episode, I guess, but it doesn't even count as episode 1005. It's just like a
really?
Yeah.
I love this called Barto's special room or secret room. Ooh, that's creepy.
I love the concept.
Someone just asked if I had watched episode 1005, 6, 7. No, not at all. It's never that early in advance. The production of anime usually comes down to the wire. You'd be surprised. But
I've heard stories.
Yeah, so I won't go too much into that. But
no,
it's never like more than a week in advance. That never happens. Not for the 100% final edit print.
That's true. That stresses me out to no end. Thinking about that. Like, I'm sure you're not the person that is waiting to do their thing at the end of the day. I'm sure there's specific jobs that are, but God, that stresses me out thinking about it.
Yeah. Well, just the most amazing thing about. The most amazing thing about One Piece, and then to be fair, and a lot of Toei productions, and to be fair, like Boruto on the Pierrot, for Pierrot's, it takes a really unique studio to be able to never-endingly put out an episode every week. Like if you think about even other long series like My Hero Academia and all this stuff, it's but they make their 12 and then they have another 6 months of totally calm pre-production, reset the schedule, right? And then
you're still stressing me out though, Henry.
You see it happen often in 24 episode series in particular, if not 12 episode series. Like the first 5 episodes will be on schedule. They'll even finish well beforehand, but then it starts airing and they promise to deliver the last 5 episodes. And then all of a sudden you see the quality dip at the end of episode 23 and 24. And you're like, oh, I thought there was going to be a high. Someone just mentioned Wonder Egg Priority. I didn't watch that one, but everyone was talking about it online. So I imagine that's an example of one where the production schedule just right up at the end just totally clashed with each other, and they had to put whatever they had to air. And maybe they'll have DVD retakes, and so there'll be a good version of it at some point. But the really unfair, realistically, production schedule messed them up. So to think though that you're consistently going indefinitely. Like, we don't know if it'll be 5 more years, 10 more years, whatever, like 100 more episodes, 200 more episodes, 300, like you're just going to keep making 20 to 25 minutes of animated content every week forever. That's impossible. There's almost no studio in the world that could do that. Pixar couldn't do that. Like, they need like a few years to sit and think and then edit, right? Like, but so, you know, whenever even a mediocre episode comes out of One Piece, I'm like, guys, do not even complain. Like, this is so crazy that you get 20 minutes of anime content every week forever of your whole life. Even you said I could talk about The Simpsons here. Even The Simpsons doesn't do that, right? The Simpsons will have its season and then, okay, we got to stop. New contract, new character designs, new storyboards, and we need to reset this thing and then make another delivery in the future. It can't be forever. You can't just keep going without a stop. But One Piece, Boruto, a few series out there do it, and the studios doing that are incredible. It's like impossible to do that.
Cannot imagine that. Yeah. As I said, it stresses me out. The whole thing stresses me out. But I'm enjoying the product. Yeah. Go ahead. Whoever that was. No, Sam. Or does anyone else have any thoughts on the episode?
I got my thoughts out there.
I mean, my general review. I thought they're both very good episodes. They just like keeping things like interesting and atmospheric. And then for the second episode, obviously, just like going absolutely wild. And that's a scene in the manga I very specifically remember thinking, like, I can't wait to see what the anime does with this. You know, especially when there's the musical motif. You know, like the Black Mirror is playing the shamisen in the manga too, but the full like vibe can't get across unless you're actually listening to it. And I love how good they do at making the Akazai 9 feel strong. Like they're really landing great hits on Kaido. It's big, it's explosive. And the thought that, you know, they can be this impressive and then the Kaido fight has to go on another like 30, 40, 50 episodes
at least
after they land this blow. That kind of stuff really makes you feel the war of attrition there that I really like in One Piece.
Cool. I think that'll do it for the anime recap. And Henry, you did want to mention one other thing though before.
Well,
if you want,
let me mention this real quick because I want it to be known that I'm a person that listens to people and answers questions. Right? I'm not a secretive person. Right? So I want to just comment super quick on the whole recent controversy that Toei took down a whole ton of videos on YouTube, and I got tons and tons of messages like, "Hey Henry, why don't you speak about this? You know, you're a person at Toei." Now again, I have to mention, like, I'm just speaking as Henry Thurlow here, and I don't know any information. I literally don't know anything, and no people even in the room were like, "Hey, there's like a ton of comments in English, you know, on YouTube stuff like, Henry, what is this?" And then I looked into it and I was like, oh, you know, this guy had his videos taken down and apparently he got a message from Toei. And everyone's just like, that's a different department. Toei is a gigantic studio. And so this is a, legal department or something like that. And so I have no information about anything. I can't comment about anything. And that's pretty much it. But just as my personal Henry kind of comment to everyone, I was interested. And so I watched the Totally Not Mark's videos about it. And then I watched Hague law professor, like or lawyer. He had like a video. In depth the laws, and I found all that stuff interesting because even I wasn't aware of all that stuff. I guess what I just want to say in general is, guys, be careful. Be very careful if you're using copyrighted material. You might know of some law that you read about on, online, or maybe even a lawyer told you who you hired. Okay, the lawyer says I can use this under free. What were they saying? Free use.
Fair use is the
fair use.
Yeah. So a lawyer says I can use this under fair use. Boom, I'm done. No, boom, you're not done. Okay. If you're using copyrighted, if you're using copyrighted material, just be very careful, because I remember stories like in the 90s, like when I was growing up, like on TV, where like a kindergarten had a news story where they painted on the wall, right? And it's like, and they painted Mickey Mouse, and they're like, oh, look, they painted Mickey Mouse on the side of the wall of the kindergarten. Is it cute? And Disney sued them. They're like, this character cannot be used anywhere in the world outside of our official products, and that is our stance for use on this character. Now, everyone can jump out and be like, and maybe even write, well, actually, the law says that fair use, yeah, it doesn't matter. Because now Disney and its army of lawyers have decided you're not using the character they own the rights for. You know what I mean?
Also, that's American law. It's not Japanese law.
Okay. And I saw those videos too. And I agree to that. But again, when it comes down to it, you have to be really careful, because people might think like, oh, I studied it. That's Japanese law. That's American law. Okay, end of story. We win. Haha. No. Not haha. We win. It's not over. Like, because think about it like this too. Think about this. I'm totally anti big business screwing with people. So when you talk about, not to go off on rants, but if you talk about Amazon not paying their taxes, or, you know, them having trillions of dollars and not paying people living wages, like that is ridiculous, and it's completely unjustifiable, and they need to be held accountable. But that does not mean every single thing a business does or says anywhere is instantaneously wrong. Anything that should apply to small businesses, big businesses also get those rights, I think. So like, for example, when I was at De Art Stagio, my previous studio, we produced a trailer for an indie comic, Teflon Funk, right? And this is like a single person owns the rights to this, and you know, it's their project, and they're trying to get it out there, and everyone should go check out Teflon Funk PV on YouTube. But like the only thing that exists of this is their indie comic and their trailer that they produced with their money, right? Via us. Would it be fair for a YouTuber to, I mean, the PV is only 50 seconds long. Would it be fair for them to take 30 seconds of that and put it at the beginning of their openings, you know, every time? Like, this person paid a lot of money for that, and it was for the sake of them being the only person that can use this, right? And like, if you want to watch any Teflon Funk content, come to me. And so I think they would have a case if some bigger podcast was like putting their production at the beginning of every single one of their things, right? It would be like, hey, you're bullying this guy. Now, obviously, no one feels like you're bullying the producer of Dragon Ball by using some Dragon Ball stuff, because the power structure looks different. But at the end of the day, do you own that? Is that your video? Like, is it your video? And if it's not, I think that, look, here's how Henry would like it to play out. I would like Disney to just leave the freaking kindergarten alone. Like, let them paint Mickey Mouse. And I would like the bigger companies, not the indie creators, but the bigger companies, to just chill, you know, if people do review videos and stuff like that, just chill. Like, honestly, guys, just let them do that. You know, that's my Henry's opinion about it. But at the end of the day, if they own the rights to it, like, you need to get permission at least. So, for example, here, let me put my money where my mouth is, or not money where my mouth is, but like, let me confront it directly. Like, I don't know Totally Not Mark, so I don't want to really talk about him in particular. But like, you guys, I like you guys, right? We're all cool, right? Now, let me be honest with you. At the beginning of your podcast, don't you have like a little jingle that's like from One Piece? Now, I don't know what deal you guys have with anything. So maybe behind the scenes, and don't even tell me, maybe you got the ability to use that. You got the okay from whoever owns it. Maybe you talk to Funimation, maybe you talk to Toei, maybe you talk to Shueisha, whoever. I don't even know who owns that. Maybe the CD owns it. Maybe you got that and it's totally chill and you guys know you're good. maybe you've worked with them before and you know, like, kind of, hey, we're cool with this, right? Nothing's gonna happen. But if you're not, and you guys have absolutely no, right to use that, I think you should be careful too. It might be just the smallest thing, and my opinion would be, dude, let these guys go. It's okay, right? But if you don't have it and don't have any paper saying someone gave you the okay to use that, I feel like you're playing with fire. Now, you're allowed to play with fire. And there's some people that play with fire their whole life and they never get burned. I played with fire. It was fun and I was okay. But I'm just saying there is a chance that one day, all of a sudden, you burn yourself. You get a message and an army of lawyers are on that side saying, take everything down. Now, something like this, I'm looking around, I think we're totally good, right? Like there's been nothing used. Like there's posters on the wall, but no one's going to stop a poster in the background necessarily. Although let me make a comment about that.
Take your shirts off.
Right. Well, but
we're not doing a power hour, Steve.
So let me make that comment now then. When I was at my previous studio and we were actually doing behind the scenes making ofs for Hulu and things like that, when we made behind the scenes stuff, they would tell us, the big companies would tell us, take off any shirt with any logo. It has to be a plain shirt. In the background, do you own the right to that? And
thank you,
a few
Sam.
times we would be like, yes, that's actually our in-house production, right? But other times we'd be like at our old studio, I worked on every season of Tokyo Ghoul, right? And so I got a Tokyo Ghoul poster from Piero, right? Here, Henry, you're a Tokyo Ghoul guy. Here, have this, hang it on the wall, have fun with it, right? But the Western producers, when they saw that, they were like, now is Tokyo Ghoul a production that was made here? And we'd be like, no. They'd be like, get it off the wall, because they know if there is any image, anything that is copyright anywhere, it is possible for the lawyers to be like, we've decided that's not going anywhere except where we want it in advertisements. End of discussion. We're going to sue you now. Now, again, an army of people online might yell at me, but Henry, it states this in the such and such code. Yes, but their army of lawyers will say it states this in such and such other code. So the point is, just be very careful, guys. Now, listen, I also have uploaded stuff with copyrighted material. I had a YouTube channel. I guess it's still up, but like I made before I even got into the anime industry, a couple fan animations. So I have a little Hunter x Hunter animation that I made and a little Dragon Ball AF animation that I made. And I used that as kind of a kind of portfolio piece to help maybe get into the anime industry. And behind it, I put copyrighted music. Like I put some just heavy metal music, right? A part where there was no vocals, but I was like, that'll be cool for that little clip. I gotta say though, if I ever get a message saying, Henry, this is copyrighted material, you have to take this down, I'm just gonna take it right down. So I would say if you're cool with that and you're like, fine, I'll take it down. My livelihood isn't dependent on this. I just want to post this. Then I say, well, just do whatever you want, personally, right? But be aware they might tell you to take that down, and when they do, you're gonna have to take that down. It's similar, as will I, right? But if your livelihood depends on it, like I felt so bad listening to this Totally Not Mark guy, because he was like, no, this is how I pay my employees. This is how I pay my family. And it's like Christmas. And I'm like, I just kept thinking like, for everyone else, because again, I really hope it works out with him, but for everyone else, please, if your livelihood depends on it, be extra careful about that stuff, because you never know when their army of lawyers are going to contact you. International law, et cetera, et cetera. Nah, dude, if you don't own it, their lawyers are going to have something in a code somewhere where they can make a fuss about it. So just be careful is all I'm saying. That's my stance on it. Please be careful. You guys as well. Please be careful.
Will do. Luckily, I think we've talked about this before. In some regard, it's a hobby, and that we don't, have to worry about our livelihoods all sinking if something like that happens.
Also, the BGM related thing, we use a different track for YouTube. versions of our shows too.
Oh, one last thing I wanted to come in, and I didn't know about this. So this is just me repeating what that Hogg Law lawyer mentioned. This was really interesting and truly is the end all say all. So he had this big video where he talked about intricacies.
It's very interesting. I do recommend. I also.
I really appreciate him posting that. But at the very end, he kind of. What's the phrase? Like he buried the lead, because at the very end he's like, now everything I said is kind of useless because, and this is interesting and everyone should know this, YouTube's policy, everyone please recognize this, YouTube's policy apparently in its fine print when you sign up is YouTube can take down any video for any reason, period, the end, done. You have no claim to anything. That's
including this one.
Yes. Yeah. And so and even this guy mentioned in his video, he kind of badmouths YouTube in one way or another. And he's like, just because of that, they might demonetize it. And you might say they can't do this, but guess what? Yes, they can. Just because nothing. They need to explain nothing. So at the end of
Henry, I would go ahead.
No, just at the end of the day, like even if it is a sinister plot, even if you want to imagine some scenario where like Toei or some other rights holder contacts YouTube and is like, we'd really like you to destroy this one YouTube channel. Ha 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 ha. Even if that's the case, YouTube's allowed to be like, sure, friend, I'll ruin it for you right now. And it's 100% okay. Even in that hypothetical, like maniacal situation, you still can't do anything because in that YouTube.
So yeah, I do want to wrap up this because we do have a bunch of other segments to do, but I will just say it's one of the benefits of doing a podcast is that you're not reliant on just YouTube. I completely 100% agree. I would go watch that video that Henry mentioned. I think it's a really good primer on that if you're starting your own YouTube channel or thinking about starting your own podcast. But I do want to wrap up here and just say thank you, Henry, so much for coming on. It was great to hear your opinions on that and the anime and everything else. And I hope we hear from you sooner rather than later, even though you said it would be later rather than sooner.
I think in a few months. I'll be back. So there'll be a gap here, but when I come back, I'll come back strong. So I'll see you next year.
Okay, Henry. Yes. We'll see you next year, everyone.
Okay. Bye.
Take care.
Thanks,
Bye,
Henry.
Okay. We got other stuff here. Hi, Steve.
Okay.
Can we get a bathroom?
Hello.
Yeah.
We can get a why don't we
play the voicemail from Matt Cohen again?
All right, let's get those bong rips. Get that bong rip ready.
Why don't whoever needs to take a bathroom break can, and we'll do some, or should I wait to do the podcast announcements then, Dan? I don't know if there's something you could put up in the middle.
I would hold off. Like let's take 5 real quick, let our viewers talk amongst themselves. Discuss discuss who you think the singer in the next One Piece film is going to be in the chat, and we'll talk about it.
Some idol, probably some famous idol.
Yeah, 100%.
Copywritten music from the One Piece.
Yeah, play some copywritten music and images.
Just
big
play a whole
videos.
episode. Put it up.
Yeah, you know what?
Oh gosh.
Yeah. Oh no, they took Steve down.
Oh no, Steve, Sam, no.
Toy, they're stealing all of. Oh no, they're all gone. Is the audio still here though? Yeah, I was good.
They can still hear us.
Oh, okay.
They would take Frankie down for VTubing for being.
Make sure you mute.
Oh, okay.
And I don't know the.
We'll answer questions, I guess, if people have questions. Yeah, I agree with the fair use.
I mean,
Avril Lavigne, yeah.
It's not even YouTube. It's a private platform. I've been saying this.
You could keep the video up if you want, Dan. I don't. Unless you want the Frankie image. I know you like the Frankie image. All right, there you go.
The Frankie image, but I just want to make sure that people had the option to go to the bathroom. But yeah, we'll take a quick 5 here.
Yeah, I mean, everyone could press the... Yeah, if people hear, like...
Yeah, I forget that that's a thing, so...
Yeah.
I'll tell you, Zach, I'm glad that I have a job outside of the podcast.
Yes, me too. I am very conflicted about it. I think YouTube is 100% to blame for it. The Toy, I think, probably hires an outside. This is my guess. Toei probably hires an outside firm. They look for just instances of One Piece or Dragon Ball being mentioned, and they just randomly take stuff down. I think the arbitrary nature of it is what's so infuriating, because as Totally Not Mark mentions, there are full episodes of these shows on YouTube that stay there for years. Like
I mean,
years.
like, I doubt like whoever they have doing it is going through every single video and
no.
just
yeah.
Honestly,
if it's anything
but,
like
I mean,
Twitch,
there's no way. Yeah.
But at the same time,
if
you know,
it's
if
anything
you're
like Twitch, it's. I'm sorry, Axe. Go ahead.
Like anything, if you're using copyrighted material, you're playing with fire. Like, I you know, was editing the OPP Japan 2, one of the OPP Japan 2 videos, and I'm like, let's put this behind a paywall because I don't want to have to deal with any other shit, because I want One Piece music to be in here. Like, it's it sort of defeats the purpose a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I know Twitch uses an outside firm for all their copyright claims, and that's like that was like the whole thing that was going on when people were using music from video games, and you know.
And I mean, I don't need to tell you or Ed how much fucking legal red tape, you know.
Well, I mean, part of it is also, Henry's right. Playing with fire, you can play with fire. And the thing is, you might be right to play with that fire. You might have all the legal rights to the fire, whatever this analogy is turning into. You might have a completely correct fair use claim that's transformative. You know, it's all that. But the problem is, Toei, Disney particularly, have a literal army of lawyers, and they could really run you through the ringer, and you probably won't be able to fight back. And it's an unfair system generally, but
honestly, just move to Vimeo, right? Like,
no,
Vimeo will fuck you over too.
Oh.
Well, podcasting I think is ideal because you have control of your own content, and I think that Hogue Law, I don't know how it's pronounced, Hog Law, really goes through that. If you have control of your content, you'll be in a much better position if you're using potentially copyrighted material. That's I think, it's not advice, but that's what I would do.
I like how this episode kind of turned into like the bit in like Bill Maher, where everybody is just sort of like.
I didn't know that would.
I almost didn't want to invoke the name of Bill Maher, but
yeah, please don't do that on my podcast. My podcast.
It is.
Cut him off. Cut his mic. No, don't actually do that, Dan.
This is I don't even think I have that power. Well,
no, I think you do have that power.
Dan's like, I'm not YouTube, Zach. I don't
know.
I've always thought that about the music at the beginning of the show, but we've done it for 11 years.
Yeah, I know, but it's like
I thought about that. Like Avex hasn't like contacted us at all about it.
That's the thing, though. I started thinking about it in like when I took my first copyright class, 2011, 2012. I'm like, oh yeah, we're completely wrong here. We're just completely using this.
But I mean, the good thing about it, the good part out is it's only 15 seconds. It's 10 to 15 seconds. I think, isn't there like if you use a I don't, it's been a while since I did copyright.
There must be
there's no exact calculus. Everything there's a 4-step balancing test for fair use, and it's an applicable defense in court.
Yes.
You know, I was I used to listen to this Star Trek Next Generation podcast, and they used the Captain Jean-Luc Picard USS Enterprise, that song like from YTMND. And I think they always credited at the end of the episode like, oh, the opening song is by so and so. So perhaps we could
do that. Yeah.
Just say like, hey, buy the.
I like that we're coming to this. I like how we're having this conversation live on the air in front of how many people? 77 people. So I think everyone except Steven's back. So we could do some announcements if you'd like, Dan, if you're all ready.
Which one you want me to queue up here?
Let's start. Let me see. I had an order. I wrote an order down. The problem is I always forget all the plans, all my best laid plans. First one's going to be the one with Sam and Jill here, I think. Yeah. So the first announcement, Jill, do you want to, and then Sam,
Yeah. So we're announcing that Sam and I are going to be co-hosting a new podcast. It's going to be called Reel It In, where we are going to be watching and reviewing live action adaptations of anime. We were originally going to just kind of focus on the One Piece anime, the new live action that's coming out, especially now that the cast announcements have been made.
Which we will be doing as much
sure.
as we can, however much info there is.
Sam wanted to review the Wachowskis' Speed Racer.
Oh God, please!
But yeah, we thought we'd branch out and kind of make it more broad. Look at other anime adaptations, good, bad, ones we haven't seen before. Yeah, should be fun.
I'm excited. Yeah, no, Jill and Sam, by the way, I love the hell out of them. I'm very excited for this podcast. I think Sam also had the idea to do all these other shows, and it was part of the reason is Netflix, whenever the show does come out, you might see my dog in the background, by the way. Whenever this does come out, it'll drop all at once. There'll be 10 episodes, and then either people will be talking about it for a while or people stop immediately. So I'm glad, that this is a very good topic ripe for conversation, I think. Sam, I'm sorry if you have any thoughts.
That's most of it. Like, just the plan was to just make a podcast about the One Piece live action, which, God knows how much information there's even going to be in the lead up, let alone after it comes out, let alone if it's good or not. That was kind of what my big anxiety was about. Like, oh, if we do a whole, podcast about this and then it comes out,
how many seasons they'll even make.
Like, I'm not even passionate about this anymore. Like,
how dare you? Not passionate about something One Piece related? Are you not passionate about movie 8?
I am. Actually, I do like movie 8.
Of course. That doesn't surprise me in the least. Sam, you have like a whole spreadsheet, I think, ready to go with like ideas. I don't know like what you want to share or don't want to share. I also don't want to put you on the spot.
First episode, Dragon Ball Evolution.
Oh,
really?
God. Jesus
no, we're setting up for episode 2.
I've seen DB twice.
I saw it in
twice
theaters.
And a half. And let me tell you, there's some really awesome shining moments in that movie. It is hilarious.
It's definitely not as bad as the King of Fighters live action movie.
Man, or Tekken. At the beginning, Tekken is crazy because like they're all in this dystopian society, and like you have to buy oranges off the black market, and they have a suitcase that has like 4 little bumps in it, and you open it up, and it's got oranges in it.
The more you go on, the more I know that you've lived through the similar pain of watching that film as I have. Like you're going through post-traumatic stress disorder just from
it's
watching
very
that
funny.
film.
We watched that the same night as when we watched The Room for the first time. That was before
Yikes.
America was infected with room fever. So.
I still have room fever a little bit. It never really goes away. Sam, will you be going through Cowboy Bebop now that it is a complete set?
That's an option.
Okay.
Be one of them.
It's on the table.
So my general mission statement is just to like track the influence of anime on Hollywood.
So Matrix.
Yeah.
Yes, Matrix is on the spreadsheet.
Great. I'm looking forward to being a guest on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm gonna force myself in there at some point for something.
Somebody said City Hunter in the chat, and God, please don't. Please never watch that movie.
Well, now they have to watch that.
Oh no! It's the only Jackie Chan film I've ever turned off, and I have not finished watching.
Oh jeez.
Yeah, Jill, Sam, anything else you want to mention about that? I'm very excited. I'll say that. And I'm not ready yet. I'm excited, but I'm not ready.
There's a lot out there now. Obviously, live action stuff has become more popular with different adaptations, anime included in that. But there's a backlog of older ones too that I've personally never watched a lot of the older ones. So I'm pretty excited to go through it. If any viewers have any suggestions, we'll definitely take a look at those. So, send them to us.
Willem Dafoe in Death Note.
God, they wasted him.
Sam will never get over that. Yeah, Sam will never get over that.
They should just make it. They should remake it and but keep him.
It was fine. But whatever. We don't have to talk about the Death Note live action movie right now. Later. But I will say we've been thinking about doing this for a very long time. How to do it, who to do it with. And so I'm very excited. I think it'll be a monthly series starting at some point in the near future. There's going to be Reel It In, right? Not Reel It In. Steve was asking, right?
Steve typed Reel It In on
I get it.
Now, this is specifically for like Hollywood, right?
Yes.
I do want to. I mean, like exploring the Japanese side of live action anime is also.
And the reason I ask this is because whenever Toho Yaro comes back, our plan for our 100th episode is to do the 20th Century Boys live action trilogy, because we reference it so much, because there's so many. It has like everybody who's ever been in a Japanese movie apparently is in these movies, and apparently they're not good. So I think it would be a fun collaborative effort. I'm putting that out in the ether.
I forget about the Japanese live action movies, like as a whole other subgenre there.
Yeah.
Some of them made by Takashi Miike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
objection.
Yeah. Anyway, thank you, Sam and Jill. We'll definitely be talking a lot more about that as the new year starts.
William in the chat says the French City Hunter movie is great. So,
well, we'll have to learn French and watch it, or subtitles, I guess. Or one day. The next announcement is a smaller announcement. It's about Fight Together, and the new season is going to start on April 6th of 2022, which is the upcoming. There you go. All the information is there. We're going to be doing episodes on colonization and very light topics: colonization and assimilation, asexuality and aromanticism, global fandom and Latin America, disability and disfigurement, music and musicians, and mental illness and mental health. We have a cast for most of these all lined up already, and we'll probably be starting to record them within the next month or two. Very excited. This series is so near and dear to my heart. If you have not listened to the first 2 seasons, they're available on our feed and on a separate feed as well, if you just want to get all your Fight Together content. So the first Wednesday in April, that is the current goal. And so then I think you could also bring in our guests for this part too, Dan, if they're ready to come in.
Are they? Where are they? Are they even on Discord? I have not heard back from them. Are they?
Oh no.
Oh, okay.
Vera's typing right now. They're waiting.
Oh, okay.
Just send them. Come in. There you go. But Dan, the first thing I want to talk about is what you're working on anyway. So they could come in while you do that.
Okay.
Dan, what are you up to? Make yourself big too. I don't want to be here.
Oh God. Oh wow. Yeah. So I don't even know how this got started. I think I was just looking for something to do with the crew to try and get to know everybody a little bit better. Coming on as the audio editor, but I am going to be GMing or running a One Piece podcast, tabletop RPG, with a bunch of very, very special guests. Longtime guests that we've had on the podcast. So if I can get them in here real quick, one of which is our pal Brodsky, and then I thought I saw Vero, but they're not in just yet. But so basic premise is we do.
Give them a minute. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh yeah. So anyways, the story's going to take place 100 years before the events of One Piece as we know it, and the players are going to be exploring the history behind the Devil Fruits, where they come from, where they originated, all that good stuff. So you can get in on the action by using the hashtag. You can't really see it too well in the image here. I'll make sure to post it after the podcast up on Twitter. Put together a nice little teaser trailer. Not trailer. What am I saying? Teaser poster. With
do we have to act in this? Like, do we actually have to?
I forgot to mention. Yeah. So Zach himself is going to be playing in the game along with Sam. And Zach is actually going to be playing the role of the ship's captain in our crew. Sam, you were playing the doctor, if I remember right. And yeah, he's what is he, like a 15-year-old doctor that chain smokes? If I got that right. Do we decide on an age? 25. Well, I was way off on that one.
How dare you?
One Piece podcast has never condoned smoking. Clearly,
yeah, smoking kills, just like the clothing says.
Yeah, so the clothing does that.
But yeah, so you can possibly have your Twitter handle or name used as a NPC in the story if you use the OPP TTRPG hashtag. Say that like 10 times fast.
It's a real acronym. That's a real acronym.
we're looking to start sometime early next year. I'm just getting dates together because we just got a lot of stuff coming up with the holidays and MagFest, and then I have to run another role playing game on a weekend in late January. So, hooray! But who else do we have? We have our pal Josh, Sean Atchison.
We have Brodsky and Vera right here too.
Yeah, Vera's playing our first mate. Brodsky's playing our. I can't remember. What do we decide for Brodsky?
Oh my God, what is it?
Exactly. Our friend Josh is playing a mink navigator who looks like Tony the Tiger, but like super hot, if you can imagine.
So like the end of Zootopia.
Yeah, there you go.
You're talking like Tony the Tiger isn't hot already.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are you doing?
Sorry.
Here?
Whoa. Okay. Whoa. Sorry, Steve.
Stepping on landmines here. Yeah.
But anyway, so yeah, just keep your eyes peeled on the OPP Twitter feed, and we'll have things coming up there as long as people are cool with sharing them. Try and talk to some of our players for sharing their good artwork as they develop their characters, and yeah, it should be fun.
Yeah, and so I want to leave it open if anyone has any questions here. I know there was one question in the chat. What system are you basing it off on?
So originally one of our players, our friend, who's going to be playing a Tontata that uses a bazooka with a pull system, it turned me on to this D20 fan-made one-piece system, but it was like really crunchy and a lot of math involved, and I'm not good with numbers, so we're using like an amalgamation of that, and then this other role-playing game that somebody was developing on the old Arlong Park forums. So it's going to be like a mix of both of those, is the best way I can describe it. So for all you like big old dorks out there that play a lot of RPGs, it's like a mix of D20 and 5th edition D&D, if that makes any sense.
This is all over my head.
I forgot. I also want to give a huge shout out to Brian Newton, who came in hot when we announced it and just started sending me dozens and dozens of character designs. Like he had them ready. I don't know if he's been running his own game, but he's been
doing this for a few decades, probably.
Yeah, but he's been a huge help, and he's been throwing me a lot of really great ideas. So going to be exploring those as we're playing through the game. So yeah,
it's exciting. I love Alex. Yeah,
I was gonna say it's funny that you got a mink on the crew. Just because the other day I was trying to describe One Piece to somebody and conflate it to D&D terms, and they're like, "Oh yeah, there's a whole race that's basically tabaxi, except they're all different animals and not just cats."
Yeah. I shouldn't know that, but yeah.
It translates well.
Yeah, of course. And then I think if things do well with the show, because we had a lot of interest after the fact, like I think only Sam and Vero were like, yeah, we want to get involved in this game when I initially like announced it.
That's always how that works, Dan.
Yeah,
get ready.
It's all good. I know who my people are.
We joined and everyone's like, oh, Sam and Vero are here. It must be cool.
Exactly. But so we're going to try and get some of the people that you see here. I'm motioning my hand over that way so that it correlates with everybody. We'll try and have some of our friends on here as guest players. So the better retention we get with the show, the bigger and better things we can do with it. So yeah.
2 other announcements. I'm going to do one and then we'll go into the next. I'm telling the truth this time, hopefully. Arcs of Consequence 2 is happening. And we're going to time it with the following announcement as well. So there you go. Wait, that is not the title. I never saw that title.
Oh my God, it needs to be.
Why would it be the Revenge 3D? That doesn't make any sense. It's the second one.
Read a book.
Dan, what are you...
Dan,
I said it's a working title, Zach. I didn't say it was finalized.
It is premiering along with the reason why Vero and Brodsky are here, and it is drumroll. Someone do a drumroll. Is it an overlay or is it just going to be underlay? Thank you. The One Piece podcast Atlas. Vero, I want you to take this away. What are we doing here?
I was going to give it to Brodsky.
Okay, or you could do.
Listen, we'll tag team. It's okay. So the concept is that it's, for anyone like involved in fandom, zines are really popular. And for anyone that doesn't know, a zine is like compendium. I don't know, a bunch of fan art put together for like a specific moment you like. Sometimes it'll be for a certain character, like speaking in One Piece terms. Sometimes just for like a crew, theme, stuff like that. And Zach had the idea that he wanted to do something for the podcast, and we're calling it like an atlas instead of a zine, because the original term for zine originally comes from like underground publishing your own stuff. Like those weren't, you print them in your mom's basement or at the library and staple them together. And so this is like way beyond that. We had a couple different sections. One of them is going to be community like driven fan art for each of the arcs. There's also a section dedicated to like printing episode like art, like from all the past years. I'm blanking because I'm nervous.
Well, so pretty much
No,
essentially like we wanted it
Brodsky.
to be a like not only like a love letter to like the 13 years you guys have contributed to creating this podcast and keeping it going for that long. So being able to showcase all of the work and all of like the art pieces, stuff like that you guys have, but as well as being able to have part of it be for the the fandom and the fan base, because you guys have also been like really into that too and always promoting and like retweeting and always being a part of that too. So being able to work with our community, have like applications open so that we can have people from the One Piece like fans in the community be able to apply to contribute to this. So we want to have things like, as Vero said, like the arc art, but as well as things like, like spot illustrations and then some other things too. So as like you see right here, like this was like the card that Vero set up, which all these like really adorable illustrations that kind of outline like a very like basic timeline that we want to have for this. So next year we want to have like applications open for like artists and even like writers too, to be able to apply. So we have time to review. The timeline is going to be maybe subject to change, but also in the card there is a link at the bottom for you to be able to apply for just like the interest check and also / kind of like a mailing list, so you can constantly keep up to date on what's going on with it. We'll be able to like send out the email saying like, hey, like here's what's happening, applications are open, they're closing, but also keep an eye on the Twitter, the Patreon that these guys have. We'll make sure that like as the production is happening too, like we are up to date and constantly keeping you guys in on what's going on. But yeah, I want it to be something cool, because like zines are like there are definitely a lot of them going around, but like this is such a different thing than a normal zine, since you guys have so much like great content you've built up over the 13 years. So we want to be able to focus on that as well as the community, which is why we decided to call it an atlas instead, because pirates, maps, and all that good stuff.
Maps. Yeah. I'm a nerd for maps too, so as Ed could probably get to.
You pulled out all those atlases too, so
we wanted to have a section dedicated specifically to maps as well, because Zach requested.
Ed, you were muted, by the way. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I was saying Zach collects old atlases.
Yeah. Well, now everyone knows Ed. Jeez.
We have to out you at some point.
Yeah, I guess. No, I am super stoked for this. I'm really excited. The drawings that Vero's done are super cool. Brodsky has been insanely helpful so far, so I do want to give a huge shout out here. And Steve and Maddie have made some really beautiful, awesome, hilarious, sometimes moving art for the podcast over since 2018. Just the Wano arc.
Yeah.
Only the Wano arc. And I want to make sure that we showcase that and like it stays in a record of some sort. And that was kind of the impetus for this. And in addition, so this has to do with the next arcs of consequence, because all of the arcs are going to be featured in the order that we end up ranking them. So it will be timed with the release of the zine, of the atlas. And there's also going to be art for Fight Together, since that has been personally such a touchstone for so many of us. And also stuff that a lot that we the crew do, and articles written by the crew here and others.
Like we want to have like a section in like within this, so like we want to not only have like the community, but then also there are so many people that you guys have had and that have worked on the podcast. So kind of like came up with kind of like a cute like scrapbook idea. So like everyone who's been on the podcast and worked on the podcast will have a section in the atlas itself, so that you can see everyone that's been a part of it throughout the entire time.
Cool. Awesome. Do you guys have questions for anyone?
Yeah, I'm excited and ready.
I saw somebody ask how often. I'm sorry,
Please.
I'm looking at the chat. I have to.
Please, no. I'm
Pay attention to
glad
the chat
someone's
for a
looking at the chat.
It's okay. I'm so used to it. Somebody asked how often you can expect updates. I plan on being semi-annoying about it on the Twitter. And then if you go, I'm gonna post the interest check on the Twitter today, as well as a link to the card, but the card will have a link to the interest check in there. There's lots of links. And in it, we'll have a option to put your email in, so you can get on like the email list, so you can know when applications for like contributors were open. And then even if you decide not to be a contributor and you just want to be like a buyer, you can get updates like, hey, we started production, we decided on the artist, and like we're in the final like beginning check-ins or final check-ins, and we'll post like previews of people's work, kind of like how they do with other zines in the fandom. So pretty regularly updates, I'd say like maybe once a week.
Yeah, Brodsky, I know, worked on the tarot card project, which was super awesome. And Vero, I know you're doing stuff for like the ASL project and the.
Yeah, I was an artist for the ASL, and I'm running a very tiny Shuggy zine. So, which yeah.
Yeah, I've been
check those out.
A part of way too. I like helped, ran, and then been a part of way too many zines. But like my background is mostly in like finance, so I'm helping with that part of like the timing and the finance, and then like I've tried like the Vera, that does like really like adorable like graphics and stuff like that, so help with like the graphics, and I have a whole plan for like formatting and all that kind of stuff to make sure that we can have it as smoothly as possible once things start going. But yeah, so when in terms of like updates, since again it's going to be different since we have like a lot of writing, and like I want to make sure that every episode like the art that like Steve and Maddie have done over the years is like showcased too. But we'll have like hopefully like maybe some sneak peeks on the Patreon or something like that. I'll talk with like Zach or even like on Twitter, whatnot, just so you guys know that it's working, it's happening, so you guys won't forget. I know they'll be like annoying with it on Twitter, maybe I will be too. So
Okay, so I think that about does it for our announcements. You're free to stay if you want. If you don't, I think we could probably handle it too for the manga recap. Up to you two.
I have to clean the house, so I'm gonna go skedaddle. But thank you for having me on.
Thank you, Vero.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah.
Brodsky and Dan, do you guys want to stay on for the manga as well?
If you need extra people, I'm happy to stay on. If not,
sure. I think we have just enough for everyone to have a page. Anyway, let's move into the manga recap. Let's do that. Let me get it. It is available, by the way, as we transition here. shonenjump.viz.com. It's free. mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. It's free. We're not showing it here. If Henry's discussion earlier did not reinforce anything, we are not. Even if it's free, we're not showing the whole manga on the screen here.
But you can follow along with us at shonenjump.com, and it's free even if you don't have a subscription.
That's right.
Let me just, before we get into the actual thing.
shueisha.co.jp.
Okay, sorry. I'm just at least posting about it, and then don't include this, Dan, in the final episode take.
We need to assign pages, don't we?
Yeah, so let's do that.
Okay,
I have most of them.
Called this earlier.
Simba's here.
Yeah, Ed, I gave you Ed. You're our number one Zoro fan, so I gave you the last page. I thought that was appropriate.
That's cool too. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve, you're our number one Sanji fan, so I gave you the first page.
So let me guess, you gave me a page with Django on it.
I have not given you a page yet, Alex. I just realized I think I will not have a page here, but
oh no,
you do the cover.
No, okay. Zach, you take the page.
Okay, okay. Brodsky, you could stick around for commentary and
yeah.
Okay. So I obviously miscalculated. So let's see what we have. 8 through 13 are available. Alex, do you have one that you want?
8 through 13. Let's see here. Yeah. Can I do? I'd like to do 10 and 11.
Okay. And then Dan, 8 or 9 or 12 through 13.
I can do.
Did Simba show up and I missed it?
Yeah, I brought him
Just
in.
saw that.
Sadly.
Ah.
Oh, Nemo's here. I jumped you, but he's asleep, and I don't want to wake him up because
Don't wake
otherwise
the
he'll
baby.
just bite
He's
my
having
face.
Did you
crazy
say-
dreams.
Did you say 8 to 9, Dan?
Yeah, I can do 8 to 9.
Okay, and I'll do 12 through 13. So this is the order. Please remember it. I will also write in the chat though. Steve starts us. Jill is 4 to 5. Sam is 6 to 7. Dan is 8 to 9. Alex is 10 to 11. I'll do 12 through 13. Steven is 14, 15, and Ed is rounding us up 16 and 17. And just in case we all forget here, Steve, Jill. This is the part people listen for. Sam, Dan, Alex, Zach, Steven, Ed. Very excited to do this chapter. So let's get right into it. Here we go. This is the manga recap for chapter 1035, Zoro versus King. You can read this chapter and all chapters as soon as they come out for free worldwide, legally at shonenjump.viz.com and mangaplus.shueisha.co.jp. Ed, what's going on in the cover page? What animal is hanging out with what straw hat? Oh,
No,
sorry.
we're not
You're
talking
right.
about-
We're not talking about that first.
Author
We're not
comments
talking
this week.
author
Because
comments.
Oda has something important to say. He wants to say, The Bachelor has started, but I've been too busy to watch. Don't spoil it, please.
Wow.
See? Very
Wow.
typical. I told you at the
He's
beginning.
just like us.
He's just like us, except with The Bachelor.
My improv team has a whole separate chat for talking about The Bachelor. I'm like the only one not on it. I don't know what from The Bachelor.
But by the way, should we just send
Firemen are in
Oda?
The Bachelor.
Should we just send Oda Bachelor spoilers now? Don't do that to him. The man works hard. He deserves an episode of The Bachelor.
Now I'm wondering
How late do the episodes broadcast in Japan? Is that?
That's a good question.
Or is he DVRing it? Is it DVRing
Which
it?
season is he watching? We don't even know.
Well, is he watching our Bachelor?
I get to go home and.
Is there a Japanese Bachelor?
Yeah, do they have like a Japanese Bachelor?
Oh,
where
I think
it's
they
like
do. I think
some
they do,
guy
yeah.
who works as like a takoyaki cart cook or something like that, and then he gets paired up with like all of these gorgeous bachelorettes, like, or do they just like really do like a really crappy dub of like American Bachelor and just view it that way?
I mean, you
Okay, I'm
people
cutting
watch,
off this.
Paris House or whatever.
I like how everyone was like, let's move on to the next thing. Let's move on. But no, we're gonna spend 20 minutes on The Bachelor. God forbid, and I mean it. Let's start out on the cover page or continue out. What funny animal do we have this week, Ed?
No, we have a new limited cover series, number 25.
What? It's
Escape
been
Whole Cake
over a
Man.
year.
But with
And
several funny animals.
Sanji just got done fighting, so now we have to follow the adventures of his shitty brothers for a while. So,
I mean, to be fair, it doesn't say, Adventures of Germa, so we could have another situation where, we see Orlumbus for 3 months.
Oh, I thought we were just going to follow the snails.
I also hope. Both are cool options.
And snails always move at a really fast pace, so this cover story will go on for about 3 years.
Is that what that phrase means?
What phrase?
Moving at a snail's pace. Move at a snail's pace.
Yes,
that
Zach.
means move really.
What else could it mean,
Zach.
Zach?
Playing possum is also a phrase.
It might not be following his shitty brothers. It could be following his shitty sister instead.
hopefully not his shitty father. Definitely not him.
I'm sure they're all
we're guaranteed. We're guaranteed some
Sister to end up on The
shittiness.
Bachelor.
What about the? I mean, what about the shitty butlers? Yeah.
What about the droid attack on the Wookiees?
That's the second time that reference has been made today in a separate conversation.
With some Charlotte family member snuck aboard the German ship.
I just want Katakuri. But
what if we talk about the rest of the chapter for the love of Christ?
Jill, do we not have enough? Speaking of, do we not have enough giant pretty men in this manga right now? Do we need 2?
You can always have more.
You need more. It's never enough.
That's true. Okay, that's a good point. Steve, would you like to start us out?
Sure. Dome. We leave off the aftermath of Sanji's big kick to Queen, who goes crashing through the ceiling. His teeth come crashing out of his mouth. and he goes crashing, soaring right out the Skull Dome into the sky. He's not our problem anymore. I'm sure he's fine. Knowing that most of these devil fruit villains that get sent flying somehow never drown.
Including Luffy.
Even they all live on islands.
He'll be fine.
That's
now
true.
They all land on floaty rocks.
Luffy secretly has the pawpaw fruit.
But this is Sanji.
He just accomplishes it with, or I guess, well, I mean, like, all One Piece villains. I was thinking like Wapple just goes flying.
But I'm not gonna. You know what, Steve? Please continue. Please continue,
Sure.
Steve.
Because we zoom in on Sanji, just glaring at his defeated foe. But then when we say Osame, who's gasping, because Sanji, digs into his his breast pocket here, and he pulls out a little Chuji. Choo, you're still alive. Says, tuck him away, keep him out of danger. It's like, oh, thank you. And we see like a nice little smile on Sanji's face as he thinks back to the mice that he used to feed. As we hear his shitty brothers say, check out the failure. He's cooking for rats again.
Cute rats.
I'm gonna be real.
Yonji.
If I saw a kid cooking food for a rat, I'd be like, fucking stop that. They're best.
It's reverse Ratatouille.
I'll write that down.
Reverse Ratatouille. That.
So what would that be? That'd be a tiny Sanji stirring a pot and a big rat
No,
walks in.
full size.
It'd be full-size Sanji standing on top of a rat trying to make him cook.
There. That's it. Draw that, Steve.
I will when I finish the page.
Jeez.
But Sanji says, but are you bruh. And I'm pretty sure this is I don't know. This could be many things. Is he getting
The
lovey-dovey?
robot shutting down, I think.
Is he tired?
He's sleepy.
Because this is Battle of the Pleasure Hall, Left Brain Tower, Winner Sanji, and this is Osame obviously yelling, help, someone, we need the medical kit. Get him a Z-Pack.
Screw everyone else. The building's on fire, but get him the medical kit.
He's a hero.
He saved my mouse. Chuji Entertainment Cheese deserves all the love he gets. Jill.
All right. So then we go back to. I'm sorry, I have no idea where anything is anymore. Outside the Skull Dome.
Top of the Skull Dome, left side Skull Dome.
Sure. Yeah, we see Zoro finish this incredibly cool, a very, very anime shot of him slicing. It actually reminds me of Monet when he fought Monet, slicing right down the middle. Flames or Ryo or whatever it is, just leaking off his swords, looking awesome. He was very polite and only cut directly down the seams of King's outfit, so easily able to be put back together. And then we get a glimpse of a face as Zoro thinks to himself, using his brains, which Zoro is clearly known for. I was right. When the flames on his back go out, he can move a little faster, but his defensive ability drops in response as King pulls off the remains of his BDSM face mask to reveal a beautiful man. Thank you, Oda. We all wanted this. Actually, I don't know if anyone wanted this, but I needed this in my life. The dude was a pterodactyl before. Like, I don't know what I expected, but it wasn't this, and I appreciate it. And then
it looks like a character from a light novel.
There we go. Everyone gets a look at King, presumably
he's like a Western like romance novel here. He's a Fabio.
Oh yeah, it is Fabio-ish.
Absolutely, it's not dinosaur. It's hot man.
Just King in the front of the roller coaster getting smacked in the face with a bird.
Ironic. The first time we heard that reference on the show.
As Kaido's goons there in the back are, Master King took his mask off. I mean, he didn't really take it off. It was kind of, the choice was not taken.
No, he ended up, he ripped it off at the top there.
I mean, he
I mean, he was like, "What am I going to wear? Like a third of a mask? What's you know?"
Yeah. So they're all like, the rumors were true. Black wings, white hair, brown skin. It's Xehanort. He's here.
Wow.
They've introduced Kingdom Hearts into One Piece.
Hunter Kingdom Hearts. Man, who would have thought that King was just Billy Zane?
Get Christopher Lloyd while we still can.
By the way, why does King braid his hair if it's going to be hidden under everything? Like that seems like.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach.
Come on, Zach. I work from home, and I put on clothes every so often.
Why?
I know.
Why would you do that?
I will say if you have long hair and you're putting on like a wig, it's easier to braid it so that you can like put it on better than if you have like all this like majestically flowing hair. If you like were to braid it, you can get his like very tight mask on.
That's true. I'm kind of sad he's not wearing a wig
Yeah.
cap. That would be pretty funny. Keep it all tight.
I wonder if Oda's been watching that Netflix Witcher series.
Oh,
The white hair and the face like that.
That's actually a pretty good theory. Yeah.
So does that answer our bachelor question as well then?
Ooh, yeah.
I thought that the Ganguro style was coming back for a little bit, actually.
I was gonna make the Xehanort joke or my 2008 Gaia Online character who was definitely a Ganguro girl.
Wow.
Or Ishval in here. But
I definitely had. I definitely
Same
had
thing.
when I first saw this chapter, in my files. I definitely had that feeling of like, I had my Obi-Wan moment where I was like, oh no, I can just sense like thousands of people posting the Squidward, like, oh no, he's hot. Thing.
Yep.
You were not wrong.
Right.
I also felt that. Is that what happens when you podcast for 13 years? You get Jedi.
1,000 voices suddenly screamed in delight in the Force.
That's exactly. Yeah, I had the exact same virgins in the Force. Yeah.
Yeah.
To be fair, though, he is very,
very handsome,
pretty.
Yeah,
yes.
he's very pretty.
Yeah.
And then we get an interesting line here. What was the reward for tipping off the government 100 million berries? So,
I mean, what is that nowadays anyway? That's like $20. I don't know.
How many straw hats is that?
With the cost of gas these days?
0.5.
It's a lot of choppers. I'll say that. Sam, sorry, Alex. What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say, I don't know what I was expecting his face to look like, but I sort of thought that it would be sort of in line with his mask. So he'd have like he'd kind of look like Bert, like from Sesame Street. He's just got like a very kind of face. Really great for the audio format that we have.
Reverse
kept the mask on for so long that it's like been like pushed into that shape.
Yeah.
Like a sandcastle.
Oda had to do the creepy pterodactyl like face pulling thing before he revealed the beautiful face.
Yeah, exactly.
That's I have thoughts about that for later. Anyway, Sam.
Before we even get into our thoughts on the chapter, biggest waste was not showing that with his mask off at least once before his end.
Maybe he'll just show
That's
up
what the
again
SBS
just for
is
that.
for.
That's true.
Oh, yeah.
It is
Yeah,
what the SBS is for.
Someone out there has to write that in. Like I am holding to what goodwill is left in humanity that somebody writes that.
Dan, we've been talking about sending in like an SBS thing to Oda. I think it should only include that one question. Please draw King without the mask doing that face. Sam, why don't you pick us up?
We turn the page, and King is like putting out his sword. It's almost like he's like lighting up a lightsaber. Just like boosh, just big thing of fire comes out. We get the full body shot. Did he keep his like jacket buttoned up too? Like, are we seeing like this like white kind of frilly thing? It's like very Fabio looking undershirt.
That's his pirate shirt.
That's his puffy shirt.
Have we seen?
He
that
wants
before?
to be a pirate.
Yeah. I've drawn King a bunch of times now.
Oh, that's true.
I've never noticed the puffy shirt.
Dan, do you happen to have that image, that the leather daddy one? It's not a big deal. Go ahead, Sam. Go ahead.
And the beast pirates are like, we weren't. I swear. And then King was like Imperial, and then like this big. Like dragon made of fire. It looks like a Kaido's dragon, but it's just flames coming out of King's sword. Imperial flaming wings. Yeah. and everyone's on fire and burning in the foreground. And King is, or somebody's saying, or Zoro is saying, the castle's already burning down as it is. I figured you'd treat your men better. If they're distracting you, why not come up here? He's like taunting King to come up. And we get this like very there's just a vibe to this profile shot of King.
Yeah, that he's so good looking. I think
he belongs on a coin.
It's very Roman. It
is very Roman.
Well, it makes me think of laurels.
With
with the tattoo. Yeah.
Not that King. He's so hot right now.
A laurel and a hearty tattoo.
Wow.
And Zoro is saying, did I hear something about 100 million just for a tip-off? What are you anyway? And King, first the ellipses, and then kind of a grimace as he's turning into unleathered pterodactyl form. Nothing that's going to matter to a man about to die. And then he blasts off, shooting his pterodactyl guns.
That'd be great if he's like, you heard it wrong. It's 100 million for just the tip.
Dan!
Womp womp.
One negative thing.
Oh boy. So yes, we pick up back on page 8, and we are seeing the other side of the Skull Dome as the fight hurtles towards the other side with a kaboom and a dun 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 as the scuffle continues. And King is coming full force at Zoro as he's deflecting the attacks with his sword attacks and coming in with a gaga. And then the sound of King matching blades, ka-ting, ka-ting, ka-ting. Some really good action panels here as it continues, and we see that King gets a mighty blow in on Zoro and sends him almost toppling backwards. And King perches himself to a higher vantage point. I was looking down on Zoro as he recovers. He does have the high ground. Man, so many Star Wars references today. It's like it's part of our pop culture every day. So
since when?
Since when? So Zoro regains his composure and starts to pull himself up with a huff. Says, I don't have much time. If this drags on, the sword will suck the life from me. And King looking down on Zoro as he's kind of tugging on his jacket there, I guess opening it more because that's what the readers want. It says, I can sense the threat you represent. And Zoro doing another inner monologue because he's been doing a lot of those lately. Says, so he's definitely from some kind of special race, but it's got nothing to do with me. And audibly, he's huffing again as the sword is drawing more energy from him. And he yells out to King, same to you. Your crew has ruled over this place long enough. Time to go. King of Hell, 3-sword style. And he's charging up his attack. And King looks a little caught off guard and responds with this wonderful portrait shot in the last panel and says, don't get full of yourself. Kaido is the man who will be the king of pirates.
I'll point out here that the King of Hell thing that he mentions is I'm not sure if if people picked up on this or remembered this, but Enma being the king of the underworld, so the word that he says is Eng-O, which is basically the N from Enma and O is king, so you could say you could look at that literally as King of Hell, or the O could also, I guess, possibly you could argue that the O is from Hao Shoku, or the conquering king, supreme king, hockey as well. Just a thought.
Good thought. Thank you for the thought. Alex, I believe you're next.
Yes, and we have a little flashback.
I feel like I'm there.
Yeah. We flash back to what looks like to be a scientific facility, not unlike one Punk Hazard.
You don't say.
A much younger Kaido with broken shackles.
He looks so weird without the mustache.
Yeah. It's so bizarre.
He's got a tiny little shit stash, though.
Sam, did you also read this in Revolver Ocelot's voice while you're reading this part of the chapter? Because this looks like that scene from Metal Gear
Press
Solid 1.
the select button if you want to join my crew.
So So yeah, it
Vegapunk
appears that
was in there a second ago going, "Don't kill him yet. I want him alive."
So
I don't want to happen. I don't want a repeat of what happened to the kingdom whose name we
DARPA chief
can't talk about,
or
the DARPA
to Alex. You can get through the sentence if you.
That's my impression of Snake dying. Kaido is there. He's much younger. He's got leather pants because that's what his fashion was back then. And we see a younger man, younger king. It appears to be shackled to a CAT scan machine, or rather an MRI, whatever, hospitals.
Look, we should definitely be specific with what machinery they're using because we know for sure what it is.
It's true. Kaido says, a Lunarian, eh? No wonder the government wouldn't give you up. I saw those endurance tests they put you through. Look, I'm breaking out of this place and starting a new pirate crew. What do you say, guinea pig? And the young king, who looks kind of like a young wiper, says, can you change the world we live in? And Kaido says, if I can change and you can change, then maybe we can all change.
Yeah, I forgot they had King training in the Ivan Drago facility.
Yeah. It's a machine.
It's definitely Punk Hazard. You can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can see on the bottom right panel, it says PH 006 or 05.
Yeah.
It's definitely Punk Hazard before it went through its, yeah.
A little robot comes out with the birthday cake. Happy birthday, Kaido. Well, of course he says, yes. Can you change the world we live in? And Kaido says, I'm the only one who can change it. And I didn't really realize until just now that Kaido doesn't really have eyebrows, does he?
Well, he's got little thin eyebrows, maybe.
Yeah.
You can see
he's got Steve Austin eyebrows where they're there, but you just could barely see them.
He's got muscles for eyebrows.
That's it.
That's how bad he is. Anyway, we cut to outside this Punk Hazard. At the Punk Hazard facility, and we hear the subject
is that the Star Wars?
It sure is. It's the best kind of alarm there is.
It is. You're right.
Yeah.
Punk Hazard better have the Star Wars alarm.
Yeah. He says, "What's your name?" And he replies, "Now is this Albert, Steven?"
Okay, so yeah, that's interesting because my initial thought was I was thinking of making it like Albert with a T, with a silent T,
like Albert. Yeah.
Well, no, isn't it also Latin for white?
Is it?
Alba, I think.
Alabaster.
ALBA.
I mean, in katakana, it is aruberu. So there's lots of different ways that you could, take that, to transliterate it and so on. So
I like Albert, like Robert.
It's just a little shorter than that.
I thought of one. It's his name. What's his name? Langdon Alber.
Oh my god! No, I don't like him anymore.
you have Prince Albert in a can?
Prince Albert. King Albert. It's King Albert in a can.
The Albert Rapport.
Oh Jesus!
There we go.
Albatross. I'm an albatross.
Albatross. Does it come with wafers? Nobody gets that. Okay.
One more.
Fucking wafers.
I mean,
do it.
This is a younger version of him, so you could say he's a kid in King Arthur's court.
King Albert's court.
You know it's exhausted when you hear a groan from Jill.
True that. So anyway, Kaido says, "You're strong, Albert, but from now on, you're king. King shit of Fuck Mountain."
Stay under my
wing.
Why would you fuck with me?
Stay under my wing. I won't let anyone else have you. From this day on, you're my right-hand man. Bop, ba-da-da-da, bop, bop. And then he laughs, and we have a little side profile.
That's probably better.
And then King wonders why Patty Mayonnaise won't go to dance with him. Anyway, he's like mid flash. He's like mid thought, and Zoro just unleashes his purgatory onigiri, which
That's how you do it.
Yeah,
that's good. You should be attacking people while they're thinking about their past randomly.
Like King just sits there on his rock, like JD from Scrubs, looking up, like, I wonder, like just going into a weird flashback, and then suddenly, no, that rock breaks into 6 different pieces thanks to Zoro's handy sword work. Zoro notices, hey, the flames are on. No point in attacking now. King is obviously an RPG boss. That Scorpion Tail is like, you do not want to attack. Yeah. So King retorts by shooting a flaming dragon at him. Looks suspiciously like the dragons that we've seen. This is his Imperial Flaming Wings attack, making me hungry. And Zoro,
I forgot they're all food-ish. Yeah.
Zoro leaps out of the way, and says, that flame is like magma. And we go to the next page.
I love the sound effect leap. I don't know how accurate that is. I did not realize I chose such an easy page for myself, but I'll enjoy it. So here comes King. This is such a kinetic panel here. It is very cool. Also, Katakuri to Luffy-esque proportions here in this fight, and I did not realize. So we have King attacking Zoro. He looks all burnt out. Okay, that's my dad joke for the day. In the middle right here, and then his sword turns into a saw sword.
It's a sword breaker. Yeah.
Oh right, saw breaker.
It's supposed to break
sword
the other blades. Yeah.
And Zoro's like, not again. And looks just like shocked. Maybe foresight, whatever he was looking at here. As we see Conqueror's Hockey clashing here, which, as we know, with a Conqueror's Hockey clash now, means that they do not actually clash. Sorry, I hit my microphone when I was... But yeah, they don't actually clash when they're doing a very cool panel. Zoro flips out of the way of that as King disappears. And Zoro thinks to himself he's fast, meaning, and here comes King's foot to his face. Zoro thinks, I can cut him. And we have a bird dance. This is also a very kinetic panel and very cool as well. Steven, what happens next?
And next, yes, King is falling backwards as we get a nice wide shot of the arena that they are fighting in. And as he recovers, he says to himself, so it seems you've figured out the rules of my body. And he
you found my special spot, Zoro.
Yeah. Unlocked my powers. And Zoro says, that's right, finally envisioning your own defeat. And yet he is immediately going oof as he's grunting, and they're trading blows again, and Zoro is like blocking all of the shots with his swords, as we see from a few different angles. And King is blocking them too, or that they're engaging in swordplay, and Zoro is taunting him, saying, "Why bother to block my attacks? I thought they did nothing to you, unless you're scared of what I can do." Good taunt, and King with his bloodied lips there, as he's like, "Oh," and then he plays the wing card, and he flies away and just says, "You are biologically incapable of defeating me." And
hold on
to himself.
Here. Let's remove this handsome mask and see who this really is. Arlong.
Arlong got very sexy suddenly. I don't know how that
took
happened.
the mask off, so it's just Arlong again.
Yeah.
No. Oh, it's another mask under the mask. I get it.
And Zoro says, "There's nothing I hate more than weak excuses." And King is hovering overhead. You get a slightly better view of his, his flesh pteranodon head in his gimp suit as he flies. And he says, "I'll keep you in my memory as the feisty swordsman you were." And then Zoro starts running after him, and he says, "I'll carve it into you myself, assuming you survive to remember me." Which is a really good.
These two have such egos on them. Not saying undeserved.
No, they're just. It's a big prick-waving dick fight. It's just
yeah.
This is some good trash talk.
Yeah, Ed said it. Yeah.
And then King, if you didn't recognize the the food joke already, then King busts out the extra large Imperial flaming wings with the 3 containers of ranch. Yeah, so that joke was originally, I guess you would literally translate it to Fire Dragon Emperor, and it was pronounced karyudon. So if you remember previously, he had the tempura udon, and this one is karyudon, karyudon, karyudon,
curry udon.
Yep. So that's what King's joke is.
Right.
Still sounds tasty. Ed, finish up the chapter for us.
So the extra large Imperial flaming wings, and Zoro takes off with his sword. He comes up with both swords slicing downwards. He is King of Hell, 3-sword serpent. 103 mercies, again with the Buddhist reference, cutting through each coil of the dragon, splitting it in two. As King has a shocked look on his face, and Zoro finishes him off with Dragon Damnation. And
What
that
a
is
cool name.
like that thing is pure fire right there, and it's coming apart.
So,
and Zoro cut fire like he wanted to.
Oh, that's true.
When he met Kinemon. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. That's going to do it for the chapter.
He got himself a little bit of wing too while he's at it.
That's true.
Oh,
that's
yes,
true.
yes, he did.
He filled up. Oh yeah, and also on the actual wing. Oh, you're right. Yeah, he cut that.
Yeah.
I did not notice that until you just mentioned that.
Well, the one sword hit him right across the chest. The other one must have chopped off the wing.
Yeah, interesting. That's interesting because I think quick comment. The thing we know about One Piece is that no one really leaves. Not if you remember them.
It's not like his wings actually did anything anyway.
Wing will be gone when he turns into a pterodactyl again.
No, I think he could fly, or was it just that he was a pterodactyl?
No,
was he said you're inferior because he's a pteranodon, or because he is a lunarian?
Well, you would gain wings from turning into a pterodon, so it's not like you would lose that.
Does he have both?
He couldn't use those wings to fly in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
well,
it could
those
be
wings
like
kind of
his
go
arm.
away.
Like his
It's
arms
like, you know
turn into
how,
like
like
the pterodactyl one.
When he's when he's flying, it's always just the leather wings of pteranodon.
So that does it for chapter 1035. I think all of Shonen Jump's off next week, right, Stephen? I don't think it's just So it's back on. It said 15 days, but I think it's around the 6th, right? Or 5th, whatever that first Sunday is in January. But thoughts on this week's chapter, Stephen? I want to start with you.
This was a really fun one. Yeah, like I guess first of all, the first thing you notice with what Oda does is like classic. Like here's 2 pages just to say definitively that Sanji won his fight, which seems like pretty definitive to me. That like this feels very much like the chapter that Sanji beat Queen. So it seems like a pretty good bet that King is out as well. And it was great. Like just really good. I think, like I said, really good trash talk between these two. Like a lot of good hard lines that they were delivering to each other, which was pretty fun. Hot King, very exciting for sure. Everybody's. Oda was like, Law and Ace and Sabo are getting a little too comfy in the top 10. We need to do something about this. So here's a new toy for everyone to get really excited about.
Do you have to literally undress the toy to see the handsome figure underneath? Is that how that's going to work?
Like Destro.
It was cool. Like the little flashback bit that we get between Kaido and King is kind of interesting. Like it's a little glimpse at kind of like the bond that they have, which seems probably stronger than a lot of Kaido's ones. I don't know. Maybe his like old, his lead performers guys are really dedicated to him in the same way that like the Doflamingo family was to Doflamingo. But a lot of the other rhetoric around Kaido's forces has been very much like, you join us or you die, and so they're all kind of there by fear. But this feels like it's a much more close relationship, which was interesting to see the contrast there. And I don't know. It was just a lot of action. Pretty fun stuff.
Brodsky, since you're here and want to give you a chance to talk a little bit about the chapter.
Yeah, sorry for just lurking the entire
No, you're
time you
good.
guys have been going through it. I honestly there hasn't been each week has been really exciting, but I really loved this one because not only did we get more of the background with Kaido, seeing as why was he actually in Punk Hazard and being experimented on, but then also seeing the beautiful king. I was very excited by that. I was very happy that I got to actually experience it this morning. But it's honestly I thought it was Wiper for a few seconds when that first page he showed up in there. I had just zoomed in and I saw the tattoo when I could have just turned the page and seen who it actually was. So I am so excited to figure out more about him. Hopefully we get more about the Lunarians or go to the moon. I don't know, or something like that. But I just really loved seeing more of Zoro. I've missed him a lot. And
I would like to see One Piece return to the moon.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's someone probably waiting up there for him. Who knows? I mean, we have.
Yeah.
Seems like
that's where Shanks has been this whole time.
There's definitely some stuff up there.
Yeah.
Shanks is making his moon.
It's Shanks. That's where he's been this entire time, actually. But I love King. Now it's went from this whole being oh, he's this weird kind of BDSM looking thing. And now I'm just oh no, wait, he's beautiful. That was only my comment today. I'm just oh no, he's hot. So I've been holding off. I want to draw him very badly. Honestly, he's taking over my entire thoughts of this entire week. But even the last panel seeing is how Zoro cut his wing. So it's can it regenerate? Will it be able to be healed? Also cut his sword in half too. Kind of got a really good blow on him at the end there. Also, I really appreciate that the way that King idolizes or not idolizes, but he respects Kaido so much that his flame dragon looks like Kaido too.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Steven, someone else had a translation question about the final attack, the Dragon Damnation. If there was if you had any notes about that.
Oh, or rather, what it was in Japanese.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, it was one of Oda's really classic, super complicated things. The 103 mercies is that's not actually a thing. What Oda did is he kind of tweaked. There is a phrase that is 136 hells, and a lot of Zoro's stuff is related to hells or a worldly attachments. That's what all the pound phoenix stuff is. But all the numerology stuff. So in Japanese, at least, I'm not sure. I would assume it's probably the same in Chinese and maybe Korean. But when you say 136, so there's 1 and 100, but 36, for example, there's no word that is 30, a specific word that means 10 times 3. To say 30, you say 3 tens. And so to say 136, you would say 100, 3, 10, 6. And so what Oda did is he started writing that, and he chopped off, instead of Ju for 10, he said Jo, which in this case I translated with a different kanji that I translated as mercies, or could be sentiments or feelings or something like that. And so he basically just kind of tweaked it there. The 136 hells refers to the fact that there are 8 major hells, and each hell has 16 smaller hells inside of them. So if you multiply 8 times 16, it's 128 plus the 8 original hells. That makes 136. And then the last thing was Hiryu Jigoku, which would mean dragon's hell. And so basically, in order to kind of reinforce the hell part, I basically kind of turned it into an alliteration thing. So dragons damnation or dragon damnation. And you did some crazy kanji stuff as well. A bunch of things that there's really no way to explain well or to get across in English. So, we employed some creativity. Also, the 3-sword serpent thing is a kanji pun, because he says in that second time that he uses the king of hell 3-sword serpent, it's Santo Ryu, which is the same, that means 3-sword style, but he changed Ryu style to Ryu dragon.
That's awesome.
So that's why that
cool.
is 3-sword serpent. Yeah.
Cool.
No, it is very cool. I'm glad whoever asked that, we'll give credit.
That was
at some point.
Barira, I think, asked that.
Thank you.
Cool.
Ed, you're our Zoro man. Please.
Yeah, this is I mean, as Steven was saying, the trash talk in this chapter was fantastic. Love to see Zoro have a relationship with his opponent that is more respectful, or at least on an equal footing as to the way I think that he saw Pika. He saw Pika as a guy who was powerful, but who just had a trick, and he could figure out the trick, and he would be able to beat him. But besides figuring out King's flame powers, he basically just overpowered him. And it wasn't just about figuring out a trick. He had to use all the power from Enma throughout his body and release his Conqueror's Haki to beat him this way. And I'm really excited to see what this is going to look like in the anime with the extra emphasis that they've been putting on things like this. I was thinking about some of the sword play with Kawamatsu, I think, and also Zoro earlier on in the arc as well. I'd really love to see how that turns out. As far as it's interesting because the situation of Kaido breaking King out of Punk Hazard implies, I mean, granted, we know he's been captured and he's been escaped every time, but Kaido is also being experimented on here, and I'm curious if there's any ultimate result of that experimentation. And again, Vegapunk is present, but he's not here in this chapter.
Devil fruit.
Oh yeah, right? Momo's fruit. Yeah, Momo's devil fruit.
That's right. Yeah.
Punk Hazard. Yeah, that could be that.
But yeah, Vegapunk is ever present in this story, but he does not appear. So Shigi's taking the slow boat.
You could say that for the last 600 chapters or something. I mean,
right?
He's been Mr. Biggie Pants has been in the back of all that. Any other thoughts, Ed? Yeah.
No, this is just I don't know. King has a mystery to him that ensures future sort of world building with the aspects of his race and the red line, and Lunarian is a very loaded term. So it's interesting that they made him look like, I don't know. He just struck me as Ishvalan from Full Metal Alchemist when I first saw him with the light hair and the dark skin. I mean, they can't really put red eyes in a black and white manga, but
it's very prominent like that. And I think Greg brought this up in one of his articles when this is the first time that Oda has ever used a halftone to color somebody's skin. Even characters who present POC, like Mr. Five, like they haven't been colored in with a halftone. This is the first time that's happened. Which means this is probably pretty significant in terms of Lunarians are very different from Skypians in this sort of way, I suppose.
Mm-hmm. It's kind of, it brings up some interesting questions, because I think there are absolutely people of color in the One Piece manga. I think, Oda approving the cast in the live action almost go to show that is how he sees it in his head as well. But it is interesting, the choice to how a Lunarian is presented here. I don't know. I don't have any specific thing to say there, but I think it's kind of interesting. Ed, any other thoughts?
I just love Zoro figuring it out and being able to overpower King as well. So he's just, King introduces all of these questions and they're sort of shut down because Zoro has to defeat him now. But those are for later.
Well, before
it's Alex, yeah.
I want to ask you something, Ed, before we move on, because now that Zoro's fight is done, I mean, this is his second fight, I guess, this in this big final battle. Before we entered this arc, you were like, I want Zoro to get humbled. Like, he's having it too easy. Like, where are you now with that?
It's interesting because what the story requires him is to be the strongest swordsman in the world by the end of the series. So at this point, he is, I don't know, the only way it's going to happen is if he tried to fight like Kaido on his own. But I think the struggle with him is sort of, it was more of an internal struggle than his struggle against King more than anything. It's him struggling with he has all this raw power and all this raw ability, and he actually has to be able to focus it to be able to be the greatest swordsman who ever was, suitable for the King of Pirates. So I don't know. I was kind of satisfied by seeing that, because it was definitely I didn't see it the same way I saw Pika, because Pika was, as I said, Pika was just figuring out a trick and then being able, because Zoro knew he would be able to overpower him once he got him in that situation, and we saw it before with Monet, which is kind of an unsatisfying fight, and that was sort of the origin of a lot of people's dissatisfaction with Zoro and his arrogance post time skip. Like, it was the same against fucking octopus guy as well, Kyozo, forget his name. But yeah, those two, ultimately they were just bad. They weren't suitable matchups for him, and I guess he was right to think so. But in order to become the best the best in the world, he actually has to focus all this tremendous power, and he has this medium now. He has this sword that has this tremendous power and this curse, but it's also a tremendous power. So he has to figure out a way to channel it through there. So it didn't really go as I expected, but I do like his internal struggle in figuring that out.
Great.
Yeah, I'll go next. So yeah, I mean, man, what a chapter. Like Ed's been talking about, I've been waiting to see Zoro have a good fight for so long. I feel like this is the first fight we've seen him struggle against an opponent, and like you said, in a different way from Pika. Pika was like a challenge, like a puzzle to figure out how to do it, not like could he do it, just like how physically it could happen. Mm-hmm. This one was an actual 1v1 awesome fight with the little flashback we got was so interesting. Obviously, Kaido breaking out of Punk Hazard. I want to know the timeline of that. I want to know if Kaido is immortal or the equivalent of whatever he is because of the experiments they did on him, or if that's why they were experimenting on him in the first place. I would love to know more about Lunarians. They said they put him through a lot of stress tests, which is interesting. God, there's just so much background that I don't know if we're going to get much more about King particularly from it. I think this is a teaser about Lunarians that Oda has put in. He's like, hey, these races exist. Now you're going to have to wait for it to become bigger. Presumably in the next arc, honestly, I don't know how much longer he can tease this for us. I did love seeing the interaction between Young King and Kaido. Like someone said earlier, definitely reminds me of the Doflamingo family a lot. It also a lot reminded me of when Roger met Rayleigh for the first time. Just kind of that instant click, that instant camaraderie almost.
It's not that different from Luffy and Zoro meeting for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. I love the way that Oda, it doesn't obviously happen on every crew, but Oda has this way of first mates and their captains, that bond that they share. Because really, like, you have to trust them. And like these are the top dogs beyond the captain. And he even had that line, Kaido's going to become the king of the pirates, which we have seen a lot throughout Wano. And a various, I remember Nami talking back to Ulti about it. We've had various crew members replying that Zoro doesn't say anything. Zoro just cuts him. Zoro has nothing to say about that. He knows Luffy's going to be king of the pirates. He doesn't even care that they claim Kaido's otherwise. So just him cutting right in was fantastic, literally. I have to say, I've already talked about how hot King is. You know what? I'm a shallow person sometimes. Sure, I like him more because he's hot, and that's fine. You know what? It is what it is.
It's true, and you should say it.
Yeah, but the face tattoo. Oda can put tattoos on whoever he wants, and he likes to do tattoos, but it is very, very reminiscent, obviously, of the Skypians. Mm-hmm. And I pointed this out on Twitter, but God, it reminds me of Dragon. Obviously, Dragon's tattoo is different, but it's in the same spot almost. And I've always thought of that as some kind of characteristic that Oda gave Dragon, particularly something to do with his background. I don't think that I don't think Dragon is a Lunarian. But it doesn't mean he didn't get that tattoo from them. Some kind of their culture or something like that. Luffy's mom, God, who knows? Yeah, I mean, it's just all little things that Oda has introduced in this one fight with Zoro that is definitely going to be much bigger later on. Definitely with the big backstory. But I don't know if this fight is over, to be honest, because we didn't get the knockout thing at the end. I think there might be a bit more. I don't think it's going to be huge, but I think they might have like a talk or something at the end.
I also want to point out, Ken in the chat had a good point. Oh, go ahead, Sam.
I was gonna say, like, maybe it could be like with Kaku, like they're talking like while he's on the ground or whatever.
I think that'd be good.
Yeah, he does that with Mr. One as well.
Ken in the chat had a point that Zoro has to be pretty much incapacitated by the side effects of Chopper's the mink medicine after this. So that'll be interesting when that hits him.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
and the
having a
whole
bad
like
day.
swords taking the hockey out of him or whatever. It's
Right,
supposed
exactly.
To be.
Like
That
it's
too, yeah.
draining his power
Through the mouth. Sorry, I had to stop. So, Jill, Sam, have you went yet?
I have not gone yet.
Sam, would you like to go?
Thought the chapter rocked. Thought it was extremely entertaining. Just like it's refreshing, you know, like getting the new king design, and specifically, I really loved the tiny little flashback we got with Kaido and King. It's, you know, like Kaido's still in so much mystery, like, you know, like there's this pathos that we assume about him, but we've gotten so little, like, as to what his deal is, or whether like there's you know, something that's gonna make us feel something if we ever like learn what he's really about. And the connecting it with the Punk Hazard, I believe that was brought up before, that at least like Kaido was experimented on, and then that was the product. The end result was Momo's Devil Fruit. That the CP0 guys were talking about how, like, oh, it's a good thing that got destroyed. But like the weird, like, you know, we're building the story in our heads now, right? Like, he was in the Rocks Pirates. The Rocks Pirates split up because everybody's just being, you know, everybody wants to be captain. Somehow Kaido got captured and has been experimented on for a while, and then he breaks out with King, and you know, like that classic captain first mate dynamic where the captain basically just picks the first mate up, like it's like, hey, you're with me now, come on. And then it's just like a lifelong bond. That's interesting. It's interesting that we're getting all this. You know, we're getting these characters who care about each other, like, just as the arc is about to end. You know, like we're almost supposed to take them for granted for the bulk of it, and now we're learning stuff that I assume is going to be, maybe it's going to be more relevant in the next arc, or maybe it's going to be relevant in the movie, the film Red or something. But yeah, I don't know. I'm interested in finding out. Like, it's like, how much? I guess that's kind of the main question. How much about Kaido can we learn in this final stretch without him feeling like he's taken away from just the freedom?
We got a whole ass flashback for Big Mom. I mean, not a huge
like
one.
Well, that was in the middle.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we might get 2 chapters for Kaido, which I wouldn't be terrible about.
I think that would be great. Yeah, I'll save my thoughts though. Anything else, Sam?
No, it's like I wonder if or maybe it'll be like in Film Z, where, you know, like just as it's wrapping up, we get that final like flashback where it's like, oh, that was it. That was
that's
like
a good idea.
The secret little like juicy nugget at the center of the big burling Hulk man.
Film Z did almost everything perfectly, so I can't fault that as an idea. Almost. Dan, thoughts on the chapter?
I mean, I love the part where King asked Kaido if love could bloom on the Skull Dome. That was pretty choice. I liked the part where Kaido and King walking together look like characters from Cromartie High. You know, the no eyebrows. I also like how the world government is so messed up that they put poor King through a stress test as if they were trying to indoctrinate him to Scientology. Aside from all these really, really bad jokes, no, like,
diagnosis his angina.
You get me. Yeah, it's another display of like Oda laying down like what, you know, unless you've like really stuck with One Piece and you're not just coming into it as of recently, like you're seeing like him take that slow road to like building all of these tiny little pieces to something bigger. And I feel like this chapter is going to be one of those things where, you know, it might not look very consequential at first, but then later on it's going to be the kind of thing where like we're probably going to be talking about this like 150 chapters from now of like, oh man, like there's the details that were revealed there, particularly about Lunarians and then some of the flashbacks. Jill brought it up and I saw like a couple other people talking about it once the chapter went live, and I'm trying to remember exactly if it got explained outside of the what was it, the 2-day 3-year special with Luffy's Red Hawk. So if we're going along with the tinfoil cap theory that you know, the similarities between the facial tattoos and that kind of thing with Dragon, you know, what if Luffy's mom is Lunarian, so Luffy is like half Lunarian, and that's the reason why he's able to like pull flames out when he's doing his Red Hawk attack. You know, like it's just another one of those chapters that is like really good for wild and crazy theories. But I also think that like this is another display of Oda being able to flex a lot of his panel work. You know, like the last couple chapters that we've had where like these fights are finally coming to a conclusion, that we get to really see like, you know, Oda clearing off some of the dust and like really just being able to give his all for making these amazing panels of seeing conflicts. Yeah, just all around, as always, just another great chapter. I'm holding my breath on whether or not this fight's gonna be finished. I mean, like it seems pretty conclusive, but we didn't get the text box like we did with Sanji at the start, and that's usually like how Oda will do it, where he'll wrap it up with say like, so and so is a winner is you, Sanji. You did it. You did.
Well, I think it's gonna parallel like exactly what happened with Sanji, where Sanji got the big splash finish last chapter.
Plus, their fights have been like intertwined.
Yeah.
You know, we've gone back and forth between
like very specifically similar pages.
King and Queen hit midair.
Zoro's gonna pull a mouse out of his pocket.
It's like
hand it to somebody and nobody's there, and then
if the thing Jill just said happens, if they hit in midair, I will be the happiest One Piece fan.
It's like in Roger Rabbit when they had to make sure that like Bugs Bunny and Mickey Mouse were like in the exact same number of frames.
Yep. And then, I was gonna make the joke earlier, but I goofed on it really, really bad. But when when Sanji's pulling the mouse out of his pocket, it was like that episode The Simpsons where Homer pulls the turtle out for Bart. I thought that was, I can't remember the line. It's a dumb throwaway joke, but I enjoyed it. So yeah, good chapter.
Cool. Steve, you were muted when you said that.
Would you like any cream?
Sorry, it's not in packets. Yeah.
No, I'm okay. Alex.
Yeah, I love a Zoro fight. I really do. And echoing everything everybody said about him struggling with this fight. He's a problem solver, our little Zoro. And he's always struggling with something, and I do really like this fight a lot better than the one with Pika. Some little guy versus a giant thing, you know, it's fun for a little bit, but this is, despite the fact that you know, King's flying around, I like a more of a ground level fight between, you know, two combatants going at it with each other. So yeah, I thought it was a great fight. Some great attacks by Zoro, of course. I do wonder about the side effects, of course, of Zoro's, you know, wonder drug, and Sanji, of course, passing out at the beginning. You know, like I do wonder if something is genetically wrong with both of them now, like, and now you know they're gonna be sort of out of commission until we take them to meet Dr. Vegapunk so he can potentially help them out. I don't know. My gut and my gut's telling me that like the key to, I've been thinking about this a lot, that the last road Poneglyph is on the moon, and the only way to get to the moon is to go through Vegapunk, and to get to Vegapunk, we have to have a reason for that, and the reason being Sanji's messed up, Zoro's messed up, and it's because Zoro took the Wonder Drug, and it's because Sanji put on the raid suit. I don't know. I'm thinking way ahead now, but somebody in the chat, I'm sorry, apologies. I'm not going to go through, but thank you for this this comment. Is Zoro going to be flat stand lead next chapter? And yeah, if the side effect is Zoro becoming literally a 2-dimensional character, just completely flat, yeah, you need Dr. Vegapunk to stick a little balloon inflator in his mouth and pump him up, like the end of the Simpsons arcade game levels. So that's, I don't know, that's a dumb thought that I kind of had. But yeah, the obviously, you know, I think this is the Lunarian thing is definitely a tease as to, you know, much more complicated things to come. And yeah, just yeah, good stuff. Good stuff this chapter. I don't think I have anything else.
Steve, last but not least.
I think all I'm going to add is, and I don't think this was pointed out at all, I really like the parallels with Kaido meeting Albert and Luffy meeting Zoro.
Yeah,
very
true.
similar circumstances.
Even the same
I was
pose.
like, same pose, yeah, T pose.
Oh yeah,
well, not quite.
Predominance.
Zoro was strapped to a lowercase T.
It's true.
I don't think there's any symbolism with those.
No.
Time to leave.
Yes, time to leave. Time to leave, Zoro, and start your journey.
At this time of year, do we not forget the set time we said time to leave to that guy 2000 something years ago?
Was it that long?
Wow, I made everyone wince at the same time.
Yeah.
I will say it's you know, it's always kind of enjoyable when the One Piece villains kind of mirror Luffy in some way. They're always like, you know, the bad version of Luffy, and not just like that Shadow the Hedgehog thing, but just like, you know, it's like I always say that's what all V's Blue was, but it's cool seeing that some of these big, you know, the emperors kind of have just, you know, similarities with our main character. So I kind of enjoyed that. It's weird because it's like, well, Kaido's definitely a bad guy, but it's interesting seeing other people's perspective when he's like, you know, people think the same of him that the Straw Hats do of Luffy. Yeah. Like,
Yeah.
What was
like,
that one thing where someone was saying like, oh, at least Kaido represents his son's pronouns, but he's still a shitty person.
What did Ed say a long time ago? There's no such thing as a woke I forget how you describe it.
Oh yeah, I know.
What did I say?
Authoritarian or whatever?
Something like that.
Yeah, something like that. No, a woke fascist.
A woke dictator, I think it was.
There you go.
Yeah. But other than that, you know, like everyone's like put it best. It was just
Carlos
really
with the lowercase T for tolerance.
It was a really good chapter. I'm glad to finally see that King reveal. I'm sorry I played into the cliche of posting the Squidward gif, but you know, saving all the good stuff for
that's true.
Yeah, saving all the good stuff for today. So
maybe Steven just had a Steve to Steve telepathy going on there. Yeah.
I wanted to point out something. One more thing someone in the chat said is that Asterisk said. I think Oda was referencing Kuina when Zoro replied that he doesn't like weak excuses. King saying that Zoro couldn't defeat him because Zoro is biologically weaker.
Yeah.
I absolutely thought that was a reference. Yeah.
Wow, that's a really cool callback. Yeah.
That is a very cool throwback, and it works really well with. I mean, they just did the flashback. Like, what was that? 2 chapters ago? I mean, it was like 4 weeks ago. But it was like 2 chapters ago.
we haven't discussed it in a while. But
Steve,
excited. I'm excited for a new cover story.
Oh
yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about it too much. Yeah, sorry,
well,
Alex.
There is something I forgot to bring up. There was something that was just in the back of my brain that I wanted to mention, and it didn't really click until Steven mentioned King's attack names. Both Zoro and King have food pun attacks, which is a cool. It's really makes. I'm sorry, did I say Queen or King? What I meant to say is King, of course. King. It really makes King a worthy adversary. For Zoro.
that's a perfect transition to what I want to say about this fight, and I'll make it quick since we have been talking for a little bit. But it really mirrors the Katakuri Luffy fight like to a T for me. In that Katakuri was Luffy's mirror. They had very similar powers. They had a lot of drive. You know, they were comrades in arms, even though they were enemies on the battlefield. And I think it's somewhat similar here. I think the most interesting part of this that kind of differentiates it, and I was going to say also Katakuri and King, both beautiful men, but I'll take it a step back. The one thing that differentiates it, though, is the fact that King kind of wipes out his own men, and Zoro makes that comment, like, that's how you treat him.
Katakuri also attacked his own men.
Yeah, but they deserved it. No,
yeah, they deserved it. I mean,
they did.
It's true.
But,
yeah.
But he attacked them because they were being intolerant, to be fair. And some of that, King may also have some of that resentment, because it's very similar that Katakuri was made fun of because of his teeth, and King he's
made fun of for being hot.
It's so hard for him.
It's a burden.
He was on his punk hazard MRI table, though, because
he's not wearing them. He's not wearing the mask because he's a Lunarian. He's wearing the mask because he's just too hot. He can't get through his day. Yeah, people are stopping him.
He's like John Hamm in 30 Rock.
Yeah.
It comes from that island that is just that episode of The Twilight Zone where beauty's reversed.
I love all
really
those
good at tennis.
I don't know if I have much else to say other than I really enjoyed this chapter. I did want to bring up this cover because it's been mentioned online. We talked a lot about this on the One Piece Connection, which is available on our website. But with Jill's theory, I like, obviously Dragon doesn't have giant black or white wings. But it does pose some interesting questions, and I think Greg or someone on AP forums back in like 2003 or whenever the hell this came out, posited that there were some connections from those angel people, the angel races in Luffy. And that was the reason for this cover, that he was half, that's why he's winking.
The eye, is the eye on the same side as King's tattoo?
It's Luffy's right eye.
Yeah, it is.
So that's like, hey, tattoo should be.
That's like Oda's, Oda, whenever Oda does an asymmetrical thing, it's always like it's always on that side.
Yeah, and I mean, obviously Luffy's scar was because he's a dumbass child who stabbed himself in the face, and realistically probably should have died from that as a kid, but or gone blind.
I like how Jill is just putting real facts here. Luffy should be dead.
This kid stabbed himself with the face. Probably a rusty knife. Let's be honest.
King's tattoos on his left eye. Sorry.
This is volume 27.
This is his left eye. Volume 27 is his left. Thank you, Steve. I keep forgetting. It's Luffy's left eye. Left eye Luffy.
In another world, that's his pirate epithet.
So do Zoro and Sanji make up the rest of the monster TLC?
Oh my god!
Hey, don't go chasing knock-up streams.
Yeah.
Remember when Luffy burned that guy's house down?
Yeah.
That's all I have to say.
Well, I do want to bring something up because we didn't touch on the cover story really, and I didn't think about this, but the chat is abuzz over Pedro potentially showing up in it.
Oh yeah.
And
sorry, I forgot about that.
I thought made me think about how I feel about that. And here's the thing: I love Pedro, I really do. The only way that I'm gonna actually be like happy or satisfied if he's still alive is if he is like a Germa cyborg now. Like if they picked up his
brain. Yes, that would be cool. That would be cool.
Pretty dope.
But why would they do that? Is the whole
clone him
because they can.
Yeah, that's the thing. Like, here's the thing, right? Like, if he's miraculously alive because he's got One Piece plot armor on, it's gonna be another of course, there's gonna be a whole fuck ton of YouTube videos about like blah blah blah. Oh, they didn't kill somebody. I'm like, yeah, yeah, it's the fucking One Piece.
Germa, like their science, like they're all about coulda, not shoulda.
Yeah. So I kind of am hoping for Cyborg Pedro. I want to see fucking SWAT Cat Pedro. Like let's make
No,
it
that's a
happen.
really good idea, Alex. I don't know why.
I don't know if this is going to follow Germa. We didn't get like, you know, the Germa Adventures 1 or something. Like, I have no idea where it's going from here.
Oh, I forgot they could totally kind of mimic, you know, the Germa
Sora
comic
thing.
strip.
They could just do
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Maybe they can make an army of Pedros and call them Pedrones.
Or Pedro Fistas.
I hope so.
The Pedroid
maybe
army.
Maybe it's a King Baum cover story.
Yeah.
See,
for Steven's sake, I sure hope so.
Yeah, Steven, for Steven, I hope we could really dive into all of those tree puns for you.
Yes.
All right, I think that's going to do it for the manga, unless there's any lingering thoughts.
Pedro pulling the Calicoach.
Let's get into our next segment. But before we do, everyone here on the stream, Steve, do you have images you want to share or no?
Yeah, I have like maybe 40 minutes left.
I got.
I hope we should be done before then. Hopefully.
Yeah, let's fucking hope so.
We
We're
have
gonna do
another segment?
we just the Magis.
Yeah, okay.
And then we're gonna round off.
We're not doing Piece Together.
I don't think we're gonna.
We're
Oh,
gonna
we've
be
been here
live
for
for
3
over 3
hours.
Doing Piece Together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I use the
Time
bathroom?
Mato
You
Marion
can-
says Page
Steve, you can use the
Robocops.
bathroom.
I don't know, Steve. Can you?
Dead or alive, you're meowing with me.
You know what, Mrs. Kazanis? Why don't you eat my shorts?
It's pronounced
You
Crandall.
all. We'll take questions from the chat though while Steve goes to the bathroom.
Yeah.
And that'll be our Piece Together segment.
We've been taking questions from the
Fading.
Yes,
Oh,
we'll
hey,
continue to
Zach,
take
great.
questions.
Trivia.
No, I don't know any trivia. I'm sorry. I have no
Trivia's
trivia.
out.
We have some. Oh, Attack of the Padrons. We have Page Robocops. I like that. Call them Pays. I like that too. Samurai Pizza Cat Cyborg Pedro. These are great.
What if all of the Pedro clones had a New Zealand accent?
They're all Maori.
Do you have to go back and fix the earlier Pedro to sound like that then? And then give him instead of dynamite, you could give him walkie-talkies around his chest.
And he has a spin-off, The Book of Pedro, which actually
I would watch
that.
It doesn't sound that bad.
The Book of Pedro sounds like a cool, like it
Does
sounds like an
Steve
indie film.
Yeah.
We'll ask him when he gets back. That's a good question.
Does or did?
There he is.
Oh, Steve's back.
poop?
Did you poop? do you poop?
Oh, the face.
Did.
Oh,
And I'm
Zing-
back already. That must have man, I must
It's
have
called a power
really,
ship.
Yeah, I must have
Lightning ship.
really got my fiber in today.
We have a fun question here. I actually wondered this
Yeah.
when I was looking at Zoro's Pedro Buffet. I like that.
Pedro
Zinc Frog-
Buffet.
I was wondering this when we were looking at the character designs because I couldn't really tell because it was a little scribbly. Zinc Frog says, "Do you think Zoro will have Enma in film red?" I couldn't really tell.
Because we have Jinbe.
Yeah,
I think so.
I couldn't tell
I'd
from the
assume.
swords though. On the
I mean, movies are like the One Piece movies are like Dragon Ball movies. They don't really take place in any particular time, as confounding as that could be. So I would just say it's whatever it is around now.
Oh man, so watched film Zed for the first time in a while the other night, and probably since before Wano, and it didn't occur to me until like the other day that the guy Bins, the guy with the Mosa powers,
Weird mustache guy.
yeah, the guy who's the guy who controls the guy who Sanji fights. He's like a big ninja. And at the time I was like, that's a weird character design, but now that we're through Wano, it's like, oh yeah, maybe he's from Wano. Like that's kind of nifty.
Steve, do you have episode images?
I just have to grant permission for.
Oh, Dan, can you?
No.
Oh, you have
it's-
to grant
it's on me.
permission.
All right.
Episode
Ladies and
titles I have,
germs.
by the way. Kimono Elvis, Reverse Ratatouille. That king is so hot right now. Langdon Albert, King Albert in a can. The Albert Report. Don't go chasing knock-up streams. and either Pedroid, Pedrofistas, or Padrones. I think Steve.
I have to quit Google Chrome real quick, so I'm gonna hop out of the call and be right back.
That's fine. We'll be here. We'll take more questions from the chat. This will be our piece together.
Dude over there says, "Where the hell did Bogart go?"
Actually, you know what I should also, you know what I should do? We have this piece. I could ask those, and
how many do we have?
Well, we'll ask those until Steve is back. So, unless he's already back.
15 seconds. Go.
So, Verth, Wind and Fire says, "Congrats on the 700th episode. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for helping keep my spirits up throughout the pandemic. Are there any podcast episodes in that you look back on fondly? For me, the episode where you giddily recap Brand New's Emperor show." Forgot about that. And show and tell, brought a lot of joy during a particularly rough week. I mean, I'm thinking about like the last episode where I literally couldn't breathe because we were talking about that Boondocks thing. I don't even remember what we talked about.
Actually, this comes up in the Magis later. So
yeah, we can talk more.
It's hard for me to say because with a lot of our podcast episodes, I don't want to say they all blend together, but you know, they're every week and you listen to so many of them that I remember like parts, like specific like scenes or like jokes that we made rather than like, oh, I remember this podcast as a whole.
Yeah.
It's tough. Sam's pet play reaction. That one.
No, that was Jam. That was Jam.
Well, Sam's reaction.
Reaction, really.
Oh. Okay.
Steve, that's your episode images.
Let's see them.
I only have a few. But let's go through these. This one I did very early in the show.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted.
Very nice.
That's
Better
the
that
speed
one
I'm
than when
looking
he's
for.
having a heart attack because he can't shit.
And he's watching the Magis. I like that.
Yeah, I do like that.
Has some strong opinions about our show. This next one. Oh yeah, this one.
Yes!
What is
The poor mouse.
Reverse Ratatouille.
Oh, okay. I gotcha.
I like that he's not even
mouse.
like controlling like any
Are we
hair
gonna
shaking,
have-
but he's just like telling him like
Is Chuchi gonna have 2 episode images this in a row? That's the
No.
question this week.
No, because I think I know what's gonna get picked. I mean,
Well, this is
I don't
this is
know.
the mouse from Sanji's past. It's not Chuji.
Wonder if
You'd be
what would happen if they met.
What's the next one?
I only have one more. You know, there's so many King things.
Larry King's things.
Why
King's
not
things.
play into the
My 2 cents. How come nobody wears pinky rings anymore?
And I thought I'd maybe play into the Squidward thing too. So
Oh no.
Boy.
oh,
Wow.
There he is.
Wow.
Have
What's
we
up,
not
boy?
done a handsome Squidward
Doesn't
No.
matter.
No.
episode?
And there it is,
Not
everybody.
like this.
Yeah.
Handsome
I think-
King? What are we calling this?
Oh, I think
Well, I
I
guess I
tried
could
drawing
call it-
handsome.
Oh, no, he's
I think I
hot.
tried
No,
drawing.
he's
handsome
hot.
Oh
Yeah.
no, he's
King
hot.
once.
Oh no, he's hot. Okay.
Yep.
That's a good title for our 700th episode. If
And
you
if you want, we
had
can put
asked
like a
me.
Magi in like the right hand corner here. Also the Magis.
That
Now,
is
now
up to
featuring the
you.
Magis from Devil May Cry.
Magi for best glow up goes to King. For...
The
Best face
incredible
reveal.
award show that I'm not about to breeze through, so we could all go home.
I mean, Steve, if you want me to do, I know you're doing a lot of work with the image. I don't want to. If you want to do
Well,
it, you can do it though.
yeah. I can't really draw and do the segment at the same time, so I'm just gonna do the segment.
Okay.
Sounds good.
So, okay, let's do the segment
The
here.
short,
Wait,
short
I'll-
version.
the short version.
Do you?
Okay, here we go.
Do you?
Yes.
You're married. Kiss her.
Good, you got a Magi. Kiss it.
1, 3, 2.
Wait, no, wait, Zach, I'm not. What are you
Yes. What? I'm counting down.
To what?
Steve, you go ahead.
doing? Give me a second.
Okay.
Like I said, I'm doing many things. I gotta get it
A
ready.
great many things.
Everything is.
Okay. While
Look at that.
while he loads that up, I'll ask one more disc piece.
Great many things.
Oh, okay. This should be a pretty quick question. Happy holidays, congrats. This is from Simchi, who says, I just realized though, while Zach was gone doing this whole fatherhood business, he missed out on my favorite bit, saying something nice about a random character. So starting with Zach, can everyone say something nice about Vinsmoke Yonji? And my answer is no.
Green.
No, I can't.
Green. I like that he's stupid.
You know, winches are handy in real life sometimes.
Yeah.
Not
I
that
like
Yeah, but
much,
that has nothing to do with Yonji. That's just
I like
winches.
when Yonji went gaga over Nami when we first see him.
Oh.
I like when he got beat up and then had to like squish his face back into shape with like
Yeah.
mallets.
Yeah,
You know,
I like
the-
that he's green. I like
Yeah.
that
The
he's
one thing
green.
I do like is that nobody beats the winch. Nobody
Oh my god, nobody beats him.
beats the winch.
La, la, la.
I like that Sanji has a little brother.
That's true.
Who's bigger than him?
The shit little brother. Yeah.
It's a
All
shit.
right.
He really is the worst little brother, huh?
Well,
Okay,
the
are
only
we gonna
reason that
cue
he's
you
bigger
in?
is they gave him growth hormone or whatever.
All right, everyone.
Sanji, invite your little brother.
Sanji was starved as a child. That
Mom
has,
said it was
you
my
know,
turn to play the
effects.
Xbox.
Yes.
Here we go, everyone. Welcome to the second annual Magi Awards.
Da, 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 da,
Nice.
da.
Did that work?
Okay.
Okay.
I heard it.
Yeah.
That was
I heard
there
it
was a
too.
1 in 4 chance that worked correctly,
minute.
and it did.
Oh, that didn't. I didn't hear that one.
Which
It's
button is this
barely.
one?
It's very quiet.
Oh, probably because the volume on it is pretty low.
Funky.
There we go. This one.
Oh boy.
Anyway,
that.
Go a hot
Steve,
start
take
here.
it. Steve is our host this evening. Take it away for the second annual Magis.
Hello, everybody. I just flew into town, and boy, are my Imperial Flaming Wings tired.
Sorry, I pressed the wrong button that time.
We're gonna make
Wrong
mixed messages here.
All right. Go ahead, Steve.
Thank you, ladies and germs. We're doing
Ladies
the
and
Magis again.
germas. Come on. What?
Germas.
What's the first award, Steve?
We're gonna start and with a very prestigious Magi. This one's for most likely to be canceled.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
I
the
gotta go,
nominees.
guys.
The nominees are all fictional, so don't worry, you're safe this time.
Is it Alex?
The nominees are Who's Who, Caribou, Queen, Sanji, and Paro
Yoji.
Sparrow.
Oh yeah.
Did Caribou do something I didn't hear about?
He doesn't have to do anything for him to be
Existed.
canceled.
Oh yeah, no, there's a whole thread
I
about it.
I see what he's doing there.
Is,
By
is
the way,
is the winner of the live action Cowboy Bebop?
Oh.
I just did a Steve laugh. That's how funny that was.
It is now.
I think you broke Steve.
I kind of just want to give that I think
Can we
that
give
deserves
that
a
an
winner.
award?
I want that
So-
to be the answer. I want that.
Maybe we have a new
Throw the
winner.
ball out.
It's undoubtedly the live action Cowboy Bebop. Thank you.
What actually won?
If I could quote someone on, if I could quote a Twitter account
Doesn't
one
matter.
time,
Move on.
you did the homework, or you understood the assignment. Sorry, I
Show
have to
your
look
work.
at my reactions to make sure. Okay, great award, great job. All right, a One Piece character.
Should I?
Who won?
It was Cowboy Bebop. Let's move on. No,
Yeah, I'm doing that just to make Sam angry. I just did that to make Sam angry. Had to
I know,
happen.
I know he won the vote by like a landslide.
But he really won.
Yeah.
Queen didn't win.
Very
That's ridiculous.
canceled.
Queen was robbed.
Queen was robbed. I agree. Queen should have won that.
Does he
All
want to
right.
win this one?
What did Caribou even do this year?
See, Caribou's been good.
All right, sorry, I should have said
Let
that.
him
No,
go.
we're
Not a
not
bad
having-
thing.
We're not,
I'm not
like
talking
what
about
else?
this tonight.
Naughty or
I'm not
nice?
talking about this tonight.
we're
not
not
doing
Steve, what is
defending-
the next guy?
We're
We're
not
not
doing
defending Caribou on this podcast, Sam. We'll get
Move on to the
canceled
next
if we do
category.
that.
Our next category is most badass giant woman.
Ooh.
Stop the count. The nominees for most badass giant woman are Big Mom, Miko
She's here
Ramen,
tonight too.
a new entry, Kiku, and Black Maria. And the winner, or I should say, and the Magi goes to Big Mom. And I believe she's here to accept the award.
Oh, great.
Yeah, big mom. Anything you want to say? Oh, she left.
She's done.
Bye.
She's old. She's probably gonna sleep already.
Yeah, that's probably true. Yeah.
All right.
She had her cake and ate it.
Now, and next is our first podcast centric award here. The category is stupidest thing we spent way too long talking about.
The Steak and Salad Memorial Award.
Ed should get this award just for naming.
There was a recent blockbuster that just came out that had that was a very steak and salad movie. But yes, our nominees for stupidest thing we spent way too long talking about.
Spider-Man, I assume.
Odin's Ghost.
Oh, I guess.
Wow.
Oh, that movie is steak and salad.
All right, Sam. Sam, we didn't cancel Caribou tonight, so
we only canceled the live action Cowboy Bebop series here tonight.
Single-handedly as a group.
Yeah.
Oh.
No, the person that posted that clip of Ed at the end of the season, I think
they
did
absolutely
that drove that nail.
I was gonna continue watching that, and then I saw that. I'm like, go ahead.
Stupidest thing we ever spent way too long talking about, besides Caribou and the live action Cowboy Bebop.
New nominee.
Our first nominee was Odin's Ghost. Great use of Greg on that one. Toki's Alive.
Still haven't won that bet with Roger yet, but I'm keeping an eye out every single chapter.
Kinemon's Farting / Body Split. And most recently, Tashigi is Kuina.
Hey, look, I have a spreadsheet. Okay, I have a whiteboard that has all sorts of Pepe Silvio-esque shit. That the meme?
That doesn't stop it from being stupid.
Listen to someone protesting too much.
And Steve, who is the winner for this?
And the Magi goes to Odin's Ghost.
Yeah.
So dumb.
Boy, we really.
The intensity of the discussion compared to how long it actually was relevant.
I still like the concept. I'm just upset that.
Yeah, the concept is interesting. I'm not.
Look at Jill. Look at Jill. She's like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" No.
I was like, what are you guys talking about? It's Chondro. And I don't think I ever listened to another word about it.
What's funny is that this is also the exasperated Steve award, because anytime any of these topics were brought up, Steve was like, "This sucks. What are you talking about?"
Yeah. And now
speaking of,
now we get the last laugh for now. Our next award, and this is Best Big Punchies, sponsored by BigPunchies.com.
Please go to bigpunchies.com. IES at the end.
Punchies, as for my name.
And the nominees are Luffy punching Kaido, Law and Kid punching Big Mom, Chopper punching Queen, Sanji kicking Queen, Robin and Black Maria, slap, Jinbe and Who's Who, and the Magi goes to Robin and Black Maria.
Ooh.
Slap her around.
Hell yeah.
I didn't see the winner for that. That's no, that was.
I thought it would
she
be
literally
Jinbe.
slapped her.
Yeah, I personally would have gone with Jinbe.
Yeah, I think I did.
That's like what I think of when I think of punches in this arc.
That and the Luffy one, which is what's on bigpunchies.com. So.
Jinbe's best one wasn't exactly a punch; it was a throw, and he threw him into the ground.
I like when he broke his fingers. That was pretty dope.
What's next?
That was a cool fight.
Our next category. Who would be most likely to fall for an NFT scam?
You can just say NFTs.
Serious nomination.
It's synonymous. Yeah,
it's like saying PIN number.
Yeah.
Or nah, I can't think of anything else. Okay. Who would most likely fall for an NFT scam? Chopper, Robin, Queen, Orochi, Hamlet?
Why'd you say like a question?
Why is Robin on that list?
I think my reason for nominating her was I thought maybe like she would be drawn in by those like the crappy art. Because she has a weird sense of
that makes perfect sense now.
Yeah, you need the explanation
This
there.
is that one of a kind Ryunosuke. Do not copy. Except Kaido and Momo. So really,
no. But Jill, you don't understand because like you don't actually own it because you don't have the fucking blockchain.
Let's not do this right now.
Yeah, don't cry if I save a copy.
I might have to give another Magi for stupidest thing we talked about.
Who won that one?
The Magi goes to Chopper.
Absolutely,
I can see it.
Yeah, Chopper would immediately.
Poor Chopper. What's an NFT? Here, just take it.
Once Chopper would find out it was like bad for the environment, he would like pull like a Thriller bark.
Yeah.
Or a Punk Hazard.
I like NFTs. Nice friend times.
Nami would be the one selling them.
NFT, not fucking today.
Queen, I feel like would sell them more than he'd buy them.
Zinc Frog put it best in the comments. Chopper, nice fluffy treat, aka cotton candy. This one is still kind of like if anyone wants to suggest something, now's the time. But our next category is funniest podcast moment of the year.
Oh yeah, we haven't thought of it.
And we have Jammer discovers pet play.
I forgot about that.
Zach's Tyrannosaurus and the Boondocks trivia. The Shokugeki no Sanji 2 recap. Remember that was my big boy sword.
Yes.
Yes.
Lots of fun with that. And that's all we could really think of. But I'm curious if there's
we have no memory
moments. Like I remember what we talked about.
Yeah, we don't remember what we talked about.
I guess we can't nominate anything from Forced Watch 4 Kids, huh?
Oh well,
what was in there?
I would nominate the Best Buy sketch.
The Best Buy sketch was
that was last
well
year, right?
over a year ago.
Yeah.
Was it? Oh
Yeah.
jeez.
Best Buy sketch from Nathan for you?
Yeah.
No, we on Forced Watch 4 Kids, we attributed like, what if Baratier was a Best Buy, basically, instead of a restaurant.
I haven't been with the podcast for very long, but the two that stand out for me the most are the intro where Zach is introducing Sam, and Sam just goes, "These nuts." And it like derails us for like a good 20 minutes. Like I had to edit out. I remember because I had to edit out like 20 minutes of us just being like, "Wow, like Sam, you're coming in hot. What the fuck?"
Why
that
you don't
and
have
then
to edit it out?
I'm like, if I got to make time for like everything else for the podcast,
What was left?
Well,
What was left
it's
of
a
Sam's
podcast.
audio?
It's 3 hours
Just
long
him
if you want.
saying yes. Dude over
that
there in
and
the
then,
comments.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. Go.
Oh, I'm sorry, Dan. I'm cutting you off. You have another one.
Oh, no.
Dude over there in the comments.
No, it's all right. The other one was Alex impersonating Casey Kasem and balls exploding due to Zach's trivia. I had a good laugh about it.
Completely don't remember that.
Dude over there in the comments is throwing out, does Barney My Pebbles count?
That was really fucking funny.
That was
to
funny.
that are like us deciding, are we really going to call this episode that?
Yeah, I'm glad we did.
You and Sungwon
chapter,
and
wasn't
Alex it was what chapter 1000. You, Sungwon, and Alex doing Fred Flintstone impressions for like 20 minutes.
Oh my God,
I
it was
do
so
remember
good.
that. It was great.
Stars Man writes, the Best Buy skit was the funniest shit I've ever heard. Thank you.
It was really I was laughing hysterically at that.
We're kind of like, we're like what is it? Our ass is shown right here. We're showing our ass right now because I don't remember anything. And I thought if I do the Magis again, I'll make sure to jot some things down that were said. But yeah, I didn't do that shit.
I'm glad other people remember stuff because I definitely I have fun all the time on this podcast and I laugh a lot. Thanks, Abdul.
Except that one time.
Abdul writes, for me, it's Alex's recent Ray Romano impressions.
I mean, I was going to say that, but I know that detracts so much from when we're recording.
Is that recent? I feel like you've been doing that as long as I've known you.
But it kind of came back. Forced to Watch 4Kids brought it back.
Forced to Watch 4Kids brought it back. I'm surprised. Did I do that when Jack came into the picture? Yeah. Hey, I'm Jack the Drought. Is that my name? Is he a drought?
Yeah, you were talking about Ray Romano if he was part of a manga book club.
Oh yeah.
All right, what's the next one?
We didn't even pick. We didn't even announce the winner yet.
Who's the winner?
Clamp,
sorry,
we're going to be reading the works of Clamp for the next month.
Should say the moment that the Magi is going to. I got to be nice. I got to be respectful. Without a doubt, the Magi goes to Jammer, discovers pet play.
Yeah,
that was
so it still hurts. Like my gut.
Anything that
broke.
Anything that Jammer does sincerely is the funniest shit I've ever heard on this show.
Yeah,
because he just does
we gotta have Jammer on more. Is what you're saying.
If I could remember the moment exactly, it was wait, what's pet play? This is so talk, and then a minute later, Jammer just brings in. Okay, so I looked up what pet play is.
Sam just loses it.
It was really great to have Jammer back on the show earlier this year.
Yeah,
I kind of hope he
Jammer.
pops up again. All right, our next Magi.
What's next?
The category is who should really be dead but isn't actually dead.
Oh God!
How long is this list?
This year, I think.
That's the question.
That's a lot. There's a lot.
The nominees are Kinemon, Kiku, Kanjuro, Orochi, Marco, Jack, and Parasparrow.
Now hold on, Queen should be on this list. I don't know why Queen is not on the list. Very clearly, Queen is.
I don't think Queen would have stood a chance because the Magi goes to Kanjuro.
Oh,
who I guess is still alive because the Kaze wo Sagashite monster is Here's a short one. Our next category: best dinosaur abilities that dinosaurs absolutely did in real life.
Yeah.
And the nominees are
this is good.
Queen's snake thing, King's face stretch thing, and Sasaki's helicopter thing.
What was the name of that, Steven? Do you remember the pun you used?
Skydancer.
Oh,
No,
Heliceratops?
I'm remembering the video that we all watched.
Oh, sorry.
Went right into the fireplace.
Yeah, oh, yeah, that's right.
Remembering a video just made me fucking lose it. Remembering a moment when we all watched a video. That's I love this podcast.
That was the funniest part.
Who won?
The Magi goes to Queen's snake thing.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
It's just wild.
It's so fucking
Well
good.
deserved.
It's why
It's
it is
so weird.
why it's the reason why One Piece is good. I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Just show that panel to someone with those panels.
All right. Our next Magi, best color spread of 2021.
It's a real category.
Yes, work with me here.
I described these, so I apologize. Yeah.
We have chapter 999, chapter 1000, the big treasure spread. We have the baddies, which was Kaido, the lead performers, and the Toby Roppo. We have the winter spread, the Jesus statue decorations. We have giant Nami with the soft serve spread. Whale sharks and the straw hats. The WT 50 3-part spread. That's the one we didn't get in the Viz version, but we've all seen it. We have the Oh God, Zach wrote the name for this. The video game spread. It's Smash Brothers. Zach.
Oh wow.
It's Smash Brothers.
That game that all the kids play.
The gaming of the video type, if you will.
Fortnite spread.
And
Man, you got him pacing like a dad too. Jeez.
I didn't realize he left the chair. And we close out with the right-hand man spread. Man spread.
I think I know which one's going to
win.
man
spread.
That's what they call
And
it.
the winner, it was like a landslide victory, goes to the video game spread.
Oh, here's Steven.
Guys, did you know I have a son?
This one.
Yeah,
I teach him to play video games.
I pray to God he's cool.
Clearly not.
Wow.
Yeah, that's going to be our March and April spread on the One Piece calendar for 2022.
All right. Our next two, we're down to our last two, and they're both podcast centric. The next category is Best Guest. And we don't like to pick favorites here, but we had a lot of great guests here.
We don't like to pick favorites, and yet we call Steven exclusively the very special guest every week.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't.
He's the very special guest. That's a different category.
Has the title.
Yeah.
But yes, there were so many contributors this year, but I guess we have to pick one. And the Magi for best guest goes to. Oh well, it's unanimous. It's Ruby Guest because they were the guest on this podcast this year. So congratulations, Ruby Guest.
Where's the rim shot?
Best
and
only guest.
There we go.
That's it.
And our last one, we're going to close this out, and this is open discussion. It's a combination just overall favorite / best podcast episode of the year. This just includes the content, episode title, episode image. We all got to decide on one.
We got to decide right now, the second?
Ooh.
This one.
No. I thought we were going to stream for like another 12 hours. And
well, we got to listen to every podcast episode first to make our decision.
In order.
Starting
I like the episode where Brian and Henry were on together. That was a good one.
That was a good one.
That was really good. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Was that the full Odin discussion too?
It was the first episode Zach was on his leave for.
Oh, it was the disco one. I just don't remember the name.
Wano Night Fever.
Wano Night Fever.
Image.
I could vote for that one.
Image-wise, my favorite two images are actually Night on Bangs Mountain.
Yeah.
The Spank Down, which actually is funny that won the best, and the Fear is Nami. I think.
Fear is the Nami.
And also Sanji D. Wolfwood. I'm looking at these.
I'm just wondering if we should, because I think we did this in the holiday party last year. It's like, let's just all lump it into one. But I don't know if you want to separate episode images with.
My Pebbles is a just solid episode. Yeah, there's a lot, but I guess I would pick that. We don't have to decide right now.
It's like picking your favorite child.
Yeah,
we didn't actually vote on this one.
Except all these children about like 3.5 hours long,
and there are 50 of them.
And they all blur together.
One of my personal favorite episodes of the year, and if I could find, it's episode 686, Odin's Live Journal.
Yeah,
that was.
Oh yeah, that's
a good one.
That was an episode I really liked. Mm-hmm. They're all winners.
Yeah, okay. That's gonna do it for this year's Magi Awards.
Well, I was gonna say, another shout out to. Don't play the wrap it up box yet. This is the Way is another great episode. That's the Jammer Discovers Pet Play episode.
What episode was that?
I don't know.
What number?
Called This Is the Way.
This isn't the way.
This is not the way.
This isn't the way. This isn't the way.
Oh yeah, because Zoro was going the wrong way. Yeah,
that's right.
It was a double pun. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for our Magi Awards. I'm sure we'll think of some other stuff. Let's wrap up the
Next
show.
year.
Until 2022.
Magi
So this has been episode 700 for the week of Sunday, December 19th, 2021. Thank you all so much for coming on this week's show. Big thanks to Vero Brodsky, Henry Thurlow, who was on for a whole long segment. And thank you all for sticking around for 3 hours and 43 minutes as we currently record this. First, just OPP Atlas coming out, I think toward the end of next year. If you're interested, please go to, there you go, oppatlas.card with 2 R's.co, and fill out the form on there, research it a little bit more. We have our TTRPG coming out soon from Dan. We have Fight Together coming out in April. We have, you're doing these fast. We have The Arcs of Consequence 2 coming out at the end of the year. And we got the live action series Reel It In coming at some point in the near future. I think that'll do it, though. And patreon.com/One Piece Podcast. We have Forced to Watch 4Kids, the funniest fucking show ever. Alex, tell me about it.
Well, yeah, watch your fucking mouth, Zach. Forced to Watch 4Kids is the podcast where me and Steve go through every single episode of the 4Kids dub of One Piece. We do 4 episodes at a time, 1 podcast episode per month, because let's face it, if the frequency were any more than that, we would probably be dead due to the bleeding of the eyes and ears and all the other orifices. Hey. Right now, we are in the midst of an Alabasta disaster, as we've been putting it. And the episode that will be released, if we can tease it a little bit, it features the debut of some much beloved characters. So,
formerly beloved character.
And the debut of one that should have debuted a long time ago.
Yeah. Let me ask you a question, Steve. Will this episode be out in time for Groundhog Day?
I'm sure. I think I'll certainly be here before April Fool's Day. So.
As long as it's here before
It
New
took me
Year's
a second.
Eve.
Okay, we're done.
Yeah.
I'm sure it'll
Check
be
that
here
out.
before Mr. 4. Dan, put the camera back on me.
Hold on.
Dan, look at me.
There you go.
Yeah, say Popeye.
Yeah, check us out on Patreon. We also have game nights, and I think that's where the TTRPG is probably going to live. So if you're a patron, we'll figure that out. I'm sure that'll all be hashed out. And also for previews of the Atlas, the zine, and a lot more. So check that out. Sam, stop yawning. Where can people find you?
They can find me. They can find me on Twitter at Lucky Chainsaw.
Thank you, Sam. Jill, where could people find you?
Put that cigarette out.
You can find me at Pyrotes Unluck on Twitter and most other social media. You can find me on Final Fantasy 14 when I can log in as per Unluck. And you'll be able to You'll be able to listen to me and Sam on our new upcoming Reel It In live action podcast.
Very excited. Where are we, Dan? Where can people find you?
You can find me at howdan923 on Twitter, over on Twitch at GA1C. And I last plug about the One Piece tabletop game. Just keep your eyes peeled for that with the hashtag OPPTTRPG.
Steven, thank you for staying on. Yeah, where can people find
yeah,
you?
you can of course read my work on One Piece every week in Shonen Jump and mangaplus.com. You can also read my new monthly series that I'm working on, Shoha Shoten, from the artist of Death Note and Bakuman. It's pretty new, so it's not a lot out so far, but I think it has been delightful so far. And if you want, you can follow me on Twitter at Translatosaurus.
Thank you, Steven, and thank you, Simba, for showing up. It was very nice to see him.
Yeah.
Steve, where can people find you?
SteveYurko.com, Twitter, Instagram. which more people follow me on Instagram, so I'll just keep plugging it. And Twitch at Steve Yurko.
Alex.
You can follow me at dude exclamation on Twitter. If you like my sense of humor, you'll probably enjoy following me. I also draw stuff. There's a meme that was going around, like the redraw One Piece cover, and I'm in the middle of working on this one. I guess you can't really see it because of the glare, but yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it turns out in the long run. Listen to me also on Toho Yaro, the Japanese Film Club podcast, wherein Sam, are you okay? I wanted Bib Fortuna. I wanted Bib Fortuna to come over like off screen and like poke you, and then you're like, yeah. Anyway, Toho Yaro is a Japanese Film Club podcast that I do with Joey and V, both guests of this podcast. We're on a hiatus until who knows when, but there's a big backlog for you to check out. So please do that. Also, Weeb Simpsons. I'm the mastermind behind that. So check out the backlog for that. And every once in a while, I decide to, make a new one when I feel like it. So enjoy that. And if you're going to be at MagFest, come and see Super Art Fight.
Ed, where could the good people contact us?
Well, you are Zach_Logan on Twitter. I am Edward E. One Piece. You can also find me at Weeb Trailers. The podcast is available at onepiecepodcast.com, twitter.com, youtube.com, and facebook.com/onepiecepodcast. onepiecepodcast@gmail.com is our email address. Please support us, patreon.com/onepiecepodcast. You can subscribe on SoundCloud, Spotify, iHeartRadio. Subscribe, rate, and review on Apple Podcasts, or call us on our phone number, Zach.
And that phone number is 347-497
Magi.
That phone number again is 347-497-6254. Call anytime.
Anytime.
With those questions, what is happening? With those questions, comments, theories, or why you shouldn't go chasing up knock-up streams. That doesn't make sense. Thank you for listening to 700 episodes. I assumed you listened to all 699 that came before this, because otherwise none of this would make any sense. No, but seriously, thank you all for listening to this stream, watching this stream, and being a subscriber. Or if you haven't before, I hope you enjoy the episodes to come. They're going to be great. I guess I guarantee it. Next year is going to be a lot of fun. We're going to be in our 13th year. We're going to be doing our 500th manga recap, believe it or not, this coming year. And we're going to surpass episodes more. We'll have more episodes than The Simpsons next year. So there's lots of big fun things
Both take
happening.
the same amount of effort.
Hey, Zach, since it's turning 13 next year, can we have a pod mitzvah?
So our pod mitzvah, that is why we're doing the atlas. It's the what do you call it? The photo
Torah.
book of the.
It's gonna be. Are you gonna put it into like a scroll, like a Torah?
Yeah. Why did I call it the OPP? I should have called it the OPP Torah. So you roll it out there.
There you
go. Yeah.
And then like the first season.
You can call it the
first season's the really the Old
Testament.
Testament.
Torah.
The Fuji Torah. Oh boy.
Even Dan groaned. And Dan loves this kind of
That's something
puns.
that we'll never be able to see.
A Fuji Torah? No, probably not.
Yeah.
He won't. It's really bad.
That's the joke.
I wonder what kind of little kindler this monkey do is.
Anyway, huge thanks to Dan for editing the show, and for the at least a third or half of the year, and very grateful for all his hard work tonight for making this happen. And we'll see you next year, everybody. My name is Zach.
My name is Ed.
My name is Steve.
And my name is Alex.
Has to go out with that. Okay.
And the rest of us.
Goodbye, everyone.
It's not a horn. It's actually his fart noises.
Magi.